People always ask me, Joey, what's your favorite exercise routine for legs? And I always say, my name's not Joey. I don't know, but my name is Angelo. This is We Want Picks, and Jakey Boy and I are going to break down the entire UFC Mexico fight card. We're going to give you our picks, our predictions, our bets, and our DraftKings plays. But before we jump in, there's been some wild drama in the Twitterverse, the Instagramverse, and all the verses. Jacob, this has been unfolding in the last 20 minutes or so. Can you catch us up what the hell is going on and how you got yourself involved in this?
I wish I knew what was going on. I wish I wasn't in the middle of this. I have no idea what the hell is going on. But catch everyone up on what is going on. If you guys have not seen my Twitter, you can follow me on my Twitter. You don't have the names on here. Appreciate that. But you can follow me on my Twitter and check it out. But I was at the Michel Pereira Fluffy card at the Apex in October. All right, so I'm sitting there, we're having fun at the card or whatever, the main event's going, and if you guys don't know how the Apex is set up, now they have it to where you can bring 4 friends and family to sit in these chairs next to the couches that they rotate in for every single fight, right? So to my right is Michel Pereira's, or Pereira, whatever you want to say his name's, friends and family. Right, or whoever. I don't know who these people are. I just know that they're rooting for Michel. I could tell they're rooting for Michel, and it's in his section or whatever. So during the fight, 3 or 4, I think in the 3rd or 4th round, he's getting beat up. Right, it's not really a close fight. Fluffy's doing his thing. I see this girl, and you can see my tweet right there in his section on her phone. She's an attractive girl, so I just assume, oh, that must be his girlfriend. I don't know his marital situation. I don't know anything that's going on. Right? So I just assume, oh, that's Michel's girlfriend. Let me take a picture because I think it's funny that his girlfriend or whoever she is on the phone. Literally, that was in the middle of like the 4th round or 3rd round of him like on the ground with Fluffy on top of him. I thought that was a funny moment. I posted on Twitter. I just assume it's his girlfriend, right? I don't know his marital situation. So I put it on Twitter. I'm like, oh, look, Michel Pereira's girlfriend's on her phone in the middle of the fight. It gets a bunch of engagement, right? 300,000. You can see it right there, 300,000 something engagements or whatever. And I just thought that's what it was. And
this is old. The date is
October. Yeah, October 19th. I posted during the card. So I just go on with my life. A lot of engagements. That's cool. It was funny. Whatever. Circle back to about an hour and a half ago. I see a random follow come through on my Instagram. And the only reason I'm bringing this up is because it's public now, right? I wasn't going to mention anything. I wasn't going to say anything. I'm not one of those people that's just like going to like try to get clicks for clicks or whatever. Obviously with that, I thought it was funny, but I'm not going to expose people to expose me. It's public now, so I'll talk about it, right? Because I'm in the middle of this apparently. So I get a random follow and I'm looking at it and it says this account is also followed by Michel Pereira and I think like Diane Barbosa or something, whatever. And I'm like, this is kind of weird. So I look at my message requests and I'm like, oh, I see a message request from her. And it says something like, I have it, but it says something like, hey, how do you know that is Michel's girlfriend? This is Michel Pereira's wife. And my immediate reaction was, oh shit, she's probably pissed that people think that he's got like a girlfriend or something. And I felt bad. Like, I was like, oh, I didn't know that he was married. I didn't try to insinuate anything. So I responded to her and I was just like, hey, I'm sorry. I didn't know he was married. I didn't know. I just saw an attractive female in his section and just put the tweet up there. And I literally didn't know. Like, I just apologized to her because I didn't know what was going on. Didn't get a response back. She saw my message. I go to her profile like 25 minutes later and she has a post up just trashing Michel, calling, and this girl saying she's a home wrecker. And I have to imagine that she has more evidence than just that picture of that girl at the Apex, because she didn't follow up with me at all. And I was just like, I don't know what's going on. I just happened to take the picture. I was just making assumptions, so whatever. But she makes a whole post about how he's been cheating. She said in one of her comments on the post, it was in the Brazilian news, like at the end of the year, but she's been so busy and everyone knew about except for her or whatever. So I don't know if my post started the whole thing in October. I don't know if he actually did it. I have no idea what the fuck's going on. But somehow I got thrown in the middle of this because even on her post, she used my picture of, like, this is her actual post. Like, that's my picture Like it's like
That chick
so
hanging out, yeah.
and this literally just happened like a half hour ago or something, and I don't know anything. I don't know if he actually did. I don't know. I didn't see him with that girl. I don't know why she was there. I don't know. I didn't talk to anybody or anything. But I made this post in October, and now apparently that's the same girl that his wife is alleging that he is cheating on her with, and it's holy shit. And you can't get mad at me. I didn't know what the fuck was going on. It's not like I was like,
This was also like 5 months ago.
If it would be different. Yeah, it would be different if I like knew he was married and I was looking at a picture like, wait a second, that's not his wife. And my post was like, wait, is this Michel's wife or not? Like that is a slimy like man code. Like, what are you doing? I had no idea. I just saw an attractive girl. I assumed it was his girlfriend. I took a picture. But it's not like it was just me. I mean, she's there at a public event.
Yeah, your post 5 months ago is more about this woman not caring about him getting his ass kicked.
Yeah.
It's not about who the woman is. That just happened to be a juicy little side bit. Let's get some tea. We got some tea. Jacob's dishing it.
I mean, that is, and and I have no idea. Like, this could be all like just a big misunderstanding or whatever it is.
No, there's no misunderstanding.
But listen, hey, Michel, my brother.
If you need a rebound.
No, I'm saying, dude, what are we doing? You're bringing a side chick to a front row at a fucking public event? If that's the case, it's like, dude, I mean, come on. Like, what is
the funniest part about that is, so Jacob and I were talking about this ahead of time. Like, can I bring it up on stream? He's like, dude, she made a public post, so it is what it is.
Yeah,
now.
I wouldn't talk. Like, I saw her DM and stuff, and I was like very just apologetic. Like, oh man, I didn't mean to cause any. I had no idea. And then I rechecked, and she saw my message, didn't follow up, and I was like, oh, maybe she was just like, that was the answer she was looking for. Just wanted me to apologize for whatever. And then I clicked on her profile, and I saw that post, and I was like, oh, because it's literally my picture in the post too and stuff. But it sounds like she, from what it reads into, it's like she already kind of knew and just kind of reached out to see.
That's my operating theory. So if you guys don't know, and Jacob explained it, but in the Apex, there are 4 seats for the red corner, 4 seats for the blue corner, and they're rotating seats. Those have to be given by the fighter. Those are not public seats. You can't buy them. So he gave these 4 seats. These are 4 tickets he gave and said, these are the people with me. So Jacob assumed that was it. There's only one girl there. And didn't seem like she was with the others.
Yeah, you could tell the way she was interacting with the dudes next to her that she like, it wasn't like a lovey, like, oh, that's like his friend and his friend's girlfriend or something or whatever. So, and I don't know. I mean, I never saw Michel interact with her. I didn't see her do anything or whatever, but it was just funny.
What I assume happened is she knew, obviously, was doing some Googling, some research, some digging, and then your tweet popped up, and she was like, that's the bitch. And then that's what, then she had what she needed. Then I don't think you started it, but I think you were,
that was the nail in the coffin. I think that was
correct.
I think her seeing her at that fight, I think that
correct.
was I think that was the nail in the coffin because she probably didn't know. I mean, she probably didn't know who was at the fights, and then saw that picture and was like, "Oh, so I'm already and then she was at the fight too. You brought her to the fucking fight." I mean, that is brass. If it's true, I have no idea.
Yeah, that's true. If it is true, it's like, dude, you were looking to get caught. Everybody knows at this point, including the 3 other dudes that were in those seats.
Well, that's what, even in her post, she was like, I think she said something about like the cover up or whatever. Like, I mean, it's a big cover up if that's.
The funniest part about any of these
got a kid
things
together too. Jesus.
Like typically, I didn't know he was married, honestly. The funniest part about any of these things is like she's using her, like the pictures you see in this second screenshot here is the alleged side chick. Dude, fucking hot. It's like, dude, you're not like.
I mean, that's what I
find some ugly pictures of this chick if you're trying to like. You're not. Yeah, like people are like, all right, good for Michel.
That's
like,
what
who's
I saw
looking
her.
at
I mean,
this?
that literally when I saw her at the Apex, I was like, good. I literally was like, good for Michel, huh?
Yeah.
Jeez.
So, and then karma may have gotten him though, because he got his fucking ass kicked in that fight. So that might have been karma being like, you know what, Michel, you're good looking, you're making some money, and now you're making some bad decisions. I'm here for you, bud.
And this has nothing to do with bros before hoes. I had nothing to do with this.
No, how could it? Yeah, no, how could anybody? We do have some positive news though. Jakey boy, after ruining a marriage, released a rap video Jacob put together, he wrote a rap song. He edited his own video. He acted in his own, he did the whole thing. He released a rap video. So my question to the community is, here are screenshots from Jacob's latest Lock of the Week video. If you haven't watched it, go watch it. It is literally a full-blown rap video. Lyrics, a hook, everything. Here's some screen grabs from it. And my question to you is, what do you think this gentleman's rapper name would be? It's obviously not Jacob from We Want Picks. What would his rapper name be? Jacob, I took that question.
Yo, somebody said, Jake, I side with you, but you took the picture, my guy. I don't know. I didn't know who the fuck she was, guys.
Yeah.
I had no idea. There's no way you could blame this on me. I see an attractive girl in his section. I assume it's a girlfriend. I take a picture because it's funny, and I post on Twitter. I don't know the fucking marital status and what everyone's wives look like and shit. Don't fucking blame me.
No,
I had no idea it was an accident. And it's not like that caused it.
No, listen, I'd love to railroad you. You're clean on that. What you're not clean on is, what is Jacob's rap name? We've got some names here. I ran this through ChatGPT. I described Jacob physically. And then here's some names that came back.
You know what's so funny about this is, like, I literally had planned like a whole thing about you and the safety parlay, about like trying to prop you up and get your confidence back and remember who you were, Angelo. Fuck that. Go ahead and do the little thing.
All I did was, listen, I acknowledged the rap video you put together was incredible. It was incredible. And I was like, he needs a rap name. So all I did was say, hey, ChatGPT. That was there was a bunch of great lines in there. People are dissecting the lyrics.
Let me read these. Hold on. Red Hot the MC. Don't like that one. Lil Ember.
I love Lil Ember. You want me to just wait? Do you want me to say what I put into ChatGPT?
No, I'm just going to read these. Freckle Flex, I don't like that. Ginger Snap, stupid. Flame Spitter, that's a little bit over top. Rusty Bars. Sounds like it could be a sex position of some sort. Red Alert. The Freckled Phantom. That's a little bit too long. MC Fire Dot.
I need to describe what I wrote into ChatGPT.
Cinnamon Spit. Blaze Kid. Scarlet Spitta, Ready Rhymes. I mean, Ready Rhymes isn't a terrible one. Brick Top and Copper Flow. Copper Flow might be the winner, honestly.
Copper Flow. Dude, first of all, Ginger Snap's my favorite. I basically said, and I wasn't disparaging. I didn't say Ginger. I said he had a red. I need a name for a red beard having freckled rapper. And this. That's why these are so good, dude. Some of these are, dude. Ginger Snap is so good.
Yeah, Angelo's been drinking, guys. So
I have been drinking. If you follow the We Want Pick socials, you saw, in honor of UFC Mexico, we went out as a family. We got some Mexican food with a whole bunch of friends. There were 17 of us. My wife got a new job today. It's a job she's been trying to get.
Real quick, like the stream if you haven't already, because Angelo's liver might not make it. This might be our last video. And honestly, I don't know what Michel's about to do to me. So, I fucking...
We're both on our last leg. At dinner, so my dinner arrived like 12 minutes ago. And I was just plowed it. And Brian, who you guys have seen in the vlogs, was like, dude, you need to like breathe. And I was like, can I live my life? I have to eat. He's like, your life's not going to be very long if this is how you're eating. So, yeah, they're all on to me. Anyway, I have been hanging out. Had a few drinks. My wife got a job that she's been trying to get for a while. So we were out celebrating with a bunch of people. It is what it is. It's Tuesday. You get what you get. While we're celebrating, Little Ember... What I would like to do is highlight how well he's been doing with the underdog lock of the week. Jakey boy, it wasn't too long ago, the beginning of this year, you guys were ready to railroad this kid. Running up and down, sideways. How bad he was at picking dogs. And now here he is, 7 of the last 8, 6 in a row. And if the only thing you ever did was say, you know what, let me throw 1 unit on the underdog lock of the week, you'd be swimming in cash because he's cleaning up. Plus 215 2 weeks ago, plus 110 this week. Or last week, and now this week, another big-ass dog, your second biggest of the year. What'd you get her at?
It's better odds than it is. You can get better odds now. I bet her at 150. I was so confident. Now she's probably plus 200, something like that.
There you go. So she might end up being his biggest.
You know, the craziest thing that I talked about is everyone always gives up on me. We lose like 3 in a row, 4 in a row, and everyone's like, you know, the best streaks we've ever had have been after I lose 4 in a row. After I lost 4 in a row, I won 10 in a row. I lost 4 in a row again at some point, and then I won 7 in a row. I lost 4 in a row again at some point. I won 6 in a row. And this last time, I lost 4. I think it was 5 of 6. 4 in a row, hit 1, lost 1, and then we won 6 in a row. So
the funniest part about Lock of the Week,
Giant got robbed. The motherfucker landed 3 significant strikes in the first round, 7 significant strikes in the second round, and got fucking almost knocked unconscious with an elbow in the third round. Don't give me the Jai got robbed bullshit. Listen, that was probably the worst case scenario for a fight because Jai didn't do anything, and obviously Taco likes to counter strike, so it was like a kind of a weird situation.
It was a boring fight for sure.
Don't give me the fucking Jai was robbed bullshit.
Yeah.
He got to do fucking shit.
Dude, that whole card, I'm not going to railroad UFC London for 45 minutes here, but that whole card was fighters not doing shit to the point where Bisping was like, they're going to go home and hate themselves for not trying to win these fights. And that's what Jai did. Jai was bragging about his brand new UFC contract and didn't do anything about it. But Jakey boy, if he only picked that 50%, would be up big money. That's what happens when you bet plus money dogs. He's not picking at 50%. He's picking underdogs at like 62% or something crazy. Big Ange, me, this giant, good-looking human being has been regarded on that UFC prediction, whatever the hell, as one of the best fight pickers. Fight pickers is a weird word. And one of the best at picking UFC fights on planet Earth. There was not a single human being with a web camera that picked more accurate fights than I did at UFC London. And here we are at UFC Mexico. Let's go ahead and run that back. That card was wild. This one should be a little more straightforward. And if you want to go to WeWantPicks.com, you can unlock not only every single pick, but every single bet that we have. You can unlock every single tool that we have. One of those tools is the brand new DraftKings Optimizer. This will build DraftKings lineups for you. A couple clicks of the button, spits it out. If you say, what the hell is a DraftKings Optimizer? Don't worry. We developed it from scratch. We coded it from nothing, and we added a beginner mode. The beginner mode is just going to ask you some normal, straightforward human questions like, hey, what 3 underdogs do you like on this card? Hey, what 3 favorites do you love on this card? Hey, anybody you don't want in your lineup at all? It'll take those questions, it'll get those answers, and it'll build lineups for you. We also have a fight simulator. This is a brand new tool as well. It's been here for 2 months, maybe 2, 3 tops. And what this does, it takes every single fighter on the card. It brings in historical DraftKings information. It brings in grappling stats and striking stats. It takes everything from the past, and it simulates those fights 100,000 times, and you get those outputs. You can use those outputs to place some bets. You can use those outputs to build DraftKings fantasy lineups. You're also getting a tool called the Data Analyzer. If you're here for the laughs, welcome. If you're here for the research, we have a tool that will bring the tape study to you. You click one button, boom, you watch the historical fights yourselves. You want to deep dive the stats, boom, Data Analyzer has it. Not only for the past, the present, but also the future. It's built all the way out like 7 events ahead of now. WeWantPicks.com. Everything you could ever want or need is there, ready to go, including the app. Everything on the website is available inside of an app, and the app brings you push notifications. When Jakey Boy placed his bet on the Underdog Lock of the Week, you got a push notification. When Big Ange placed the safety parlay, RIP, you get a push notification. Everything we do, bango, bongo, to your phone. If you like it, great. You can attack it before the line moves. If you don't, you put your phone down. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member. It's freaking $10. What an absolute joke. $10. Here's the events you're going to get for the $10. UFC Mexico. Next week's very interesting UFC Vegas 105. And then UFC 314 right behind that for 10 doll hairs. And finally, for UFC 314, it's a pay-per-view. We film vlogs for pay-per-views. We hang out. We cook some good food. We do all the things. We open mail. If you want to send some mail for the UFC 314 vlog, here's the address. We Want Picks, P.O. Box 406 in Prosper, Texas, 75078. Couple of super chats, and then we will go ahead and hit these breakdowns. First of all, not a super chat, but fuck this guy. Angelo, over under 275.
Over.
First of all, I weigh 260. And the funniest part about that,
you weighed 260 for like 4 years.
I keep getting slimmer. I weigh I am 6'3", 260. Okay, I weigh 260.
6'1", 310.
I will take. There's a 6 in front of it. I'll take a picture on the scale at dinner tonight.
Go ahead.
I can't do it now. The camera's attached to the monitor.
No, you can go take a picture with your phone and then come back.
You know what? I'm gonna have to pee in a little bit, and I might do that. But I'm gonna have to strip.
Right now.
I can't.
I'll handle the super chats. Go ahead. We'll wait for him.
You can't do the super chats. I have to pin them.
No, I can read them. It's fine.
We'll wait till I have to pee. We'll wait till I have to pee.
David Rios with $1.99 says, Jacob, go ahead, Angelo. Jacob, you're invited to the carne asada in Mexico. Get it off the screen so I can see myself, and I'll go through it. I'll handle the fucking stream. You guys like this fucking hoodie? This is an old school hoodie, but Viva Mexico! This is an Amazon special, UFC Mexico. I love my Mexicans. There's no doubt about that. I appreciate the $1.99 from David Rios. How is he gonna finagle this? Why wouldn't he just bring the scale in here, by the way? I hope that's what he is about to do. Yo, Zach Squires with a $4.99. What do we think of UFC Iowa? I will be there live to see the lock of the week win. What is UFC? Oh, that's the Des Moines. UFC Des Moines. How the fuck, by the way, does Des Moines fucking Iowa get a UFC fight card before Dallas? We live outside of Dallas. They haven't had a card. I think the last card they had was like an Amanda Nunes. Was it a pay-per-view card when she was the champ? I don't know when that was. I think it's because Dana White hates Mark Cuban now, because I think he doesn't. He's only partial owner of the Mavericks, but he might still own the building. I think it's a political thing. I can't remember who's the main event on that card. Is that the Sandhagen? Is he the main event? I can't remember. Appreciate the $4.99. $1.99 from Park Stew says Red Alert is peak for the rap name. If you guys haven't seen the Lock of the Week video yet, I did spend so much time making that video come up with that rap. It's actually, hey, 1 to 10, how's my flow? Right? Do I got a heavy flow on that rap? I think I got like a naturally heavy flow. Nobody else can do it like me. Brian Chen with a $4.99. His first super chat says, this is for my boy, Jake. I appreciate that, Brian Chen. Was there another super chat in here? $2 from Jake Korach. He didn't even bring the scale in here. The guy's a fucking retard. When did you guys get a fight simulator? That was his 20th super chat. Jake with the $2. $4.99 from Brian with our first super chat. No message. But we appreciate that super chat. Why wouldn't you just bring the scale in here? Oh, I mean, look, this guy's a fucking... Look at this guy. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. What do you think? Do you want them to get? You want me to guess? You want me to be reasonable about it? Okay.
Did you mute me? What the fuck?
You were muted the whole... I was just pretending that you weren't muted because you're so fucking stupid, dude.
Okay, my bad. I did the weigh.
Why wouldn't you just bring the scale in here?
Because the camera's attached to the screen. Okay, I did the weigh-in. It's the end of the day. It's the end of...
Yo, $9.99 from David Rios. Tacos on me, Jacob. I appreciate that.
I had to... Okay, so let me describe my dinner, and it's the end of the day, and then you're going to guess.
Yeah, we got excuses before the...
Okay. It is 8 o'clock at night. You know you don't weigh yourself at night. That's fucking crazy. It's 8 o'clock at night.
That's your natural weight.
Morning oses. I just came back.
That's not your natural weight. You haven't eaten in 12 hours the way you sleep.
Well, I just ate fucking 9 minutes ago.
Yeah, that's your
and
natural weight.
I got two cheese enchiladas with chili con carne. Okay, and that was A+ lip reading, by the way. What do you think I weighed at the end of the day? I did take my shoes off. All the other clothes is on. Everything else was on. What do you think I weighed?
Well, if you're making excuses, I think it's probably going to be like, I don't know, if it's 271.
265. Come on. That's not bad. The fuck out of here. That's 260. 265 at the end of the day. We close on after dinner is 260. Everybody fucking knows that. Get the fuck out of here. Told you.
I mean, that's the DC. You know he's holding on to the towel rack.
No, I didn't fuck. Dude, if I fucked around, it wouldn't be over 260. I'll tell you that.
Well, I think that's the issue. I think you were fucking around. It's still 265.
It's 280. I was like, uh-oh. Nah,
Yeah, I think that literally is what happened.
Nah, no way. Okay, let's go ahead and break down this card. The people are anxious for.
No, I got one more thing to do because obviously we do want to kind of get this safety parlay back on track here, and I do have I had some payway today, and I thought, you know what, let me order some extra.
Payway's good.
Let me order some extra fortune cookies and get some fortunes going for Angelo. Right? There's nothing better than a fortune cookie because literally, I'll tell you what. Here, keep him. I don't know if you can improv here, but keep him busy for 1 second.
Okay, I will keep him busy. I got a couple of chats here. This asshole said, is that... Oh, no, wrong. My bad. Jay Watt said, is that a golf hat? This is Young LA. Young LA is a big supporter of the show. We love Young LA. They have, A, insanely high-quality products,
okay,
and B,
shut up.
they look cool. Thank you, Young LA.
So I'm not even bullshitting. I don't know when this was. This had to have been like 8 weeks ago. I opened up a fortune cookie, and this was the fortune I got. Right? I don't know if it's going to focus, but it says, bide your time, for success is near. And that was right in the middle of like my 3-4 lock of the week loss streak. Okay. And I literally kept this because I was like, you know what? Fuck yeah, I will. And here we are. So now we're going to find you a little fortune, Angelo. We're going to see what it says. Okay? First
How
one.
was Payway, by the way?
And I'll even save the cookies for you. Okay, first one. See what this says here? Some fat fuck is going to... No, just kidding. All right. It says, ooh, this could be good for you and Tiffany tonight. This could be exciting for you. Many pleasurable and memorable adventures are in store for you.
Okay. I like it. I actually don't like adventures.
Maybe a vacation coming up. Has nothing to do with the safety parlay yet, but we'll see.
Okay.
Get the second
all right.
one coming.
I'm with it, man. I'm with it.
Here's the next. I'm not even bullshitting. There is not a fortune in here. This one. This is not.
That's not great. That's not great.
I'm not even bullshit. I just cracked this open.
That's not great.
There's not a single fucking fortune in here. Oh God. Let's.
You realize premium is how we pay our bills, Jacob, and
oh God,
that's not great.
All right, last one, and then we'll break down these fights, ladies and gentlemen. Crack this open. All right, there is a fortune in this one, thank God. And it says, drum roll, please. It's not looking good. It says there is beauty and simplicity. Oh, well, maybe.
Oh, okay. I'm just going to pick two easy fighters that are obvious.
There you go. There is beauty and simplicity. Now we got it.
All right. I am going to keep it simple because you know what? I threw a safety parlay out there and you fucking ran it down my throat saying it was dumb. Maybe I keep it simple and I stick with it.
There you go.
Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and break down these fights. We've got a couple of super chats. We're going to get to those after this first fight. Opening up the UFC Mexico fight card, we got Austin Hubbard taking on somewhat short notice MarQuel Mederos. Austin Hubbard 16-8 in his career, 3-2 in his last 5. He's coming off that decision loss to Alexander Hernandez. He's taking on MarQuel Mederos. 9-1 in his career, 5-0 in his last 5. He's coming off that win in his UFC debut. Austin Hubbard, as we all know, a gritty guy. He's decent everywhere. He's got a ton of heart, I don't want to say power. I have it written here that says ton of power in his hands. It's not a ton of power, but he's got a ton of heart. He will sling some leather. Mostly a striker, pretty well-rounded overall. He can be taken down, but he's got a good enough get-up game that you're not just going to hold him there and ride him out. He's not great at anything. He's not wildly dangerous, but he's good at everything. He's tough as shit. He's coming off that loss to Alexander Hernandez where he marched forward. He threw a ton. He wasn't fast or clean. He's taking on MarQuel Mederos. Very good striker. He strings together combinations pretty well. He throws in volume. He's pretty comfortable in those striking exchanges. He hits a nice flow state. He is primarily a striker, but he can grapple as well. He's got some slick takedowns, slick takedown defense, and slick submissions. He's coming off that straightforward win in his UFC debut where the striking and takedown defense were clean, but the takedown offense clearly needs a little bit of work. MarQuel's good. And if you only saw his Contender Series win, you'd think he was great. The reality is, though, his last win was just okay, and it does give me a little bit of caution here. He should be good enough to touch up Austin Hubbard, maybe win a nice straightforward decision. But the reality is he's not a lock. And if we're looking at odds like 2-1 here, I'm not loving MarQuel at these odds. Austin's going to march forward. Austin's going to stay busy. And if MarQuel's not moving side to side, if MarQuel's not really working that footwork and keeping his hands busy, Austin's just going to stay in his face, stay busy, grind him down, work him to the ground, work him to the cage, stay in his face. And Austin can grind out a win here. I'm going to pick MarQuel. MarQuel is going to be the pick, but I don't love the 2-1 odds here. So I made a very clear pick, and I don't know if you heard before, Jacob, but I am quite literally third party, objectively one of the best at picking fights on the planet. So I picked MarQuel. Yeah. Not going to bet on him because the odds are wide. Pretty logical breakdown. What do you think, Jacob?
Logical. Austin's probably going to win, but I'm going to pick MarQuel. Typical fucking
I didn't say that. I said MarQuel's going to win, but Austin's
probably going to do this, and this, but he might not. So let me pick MarQuel in this matchup. I'm going MarQuel because he's the better fighter. It's going to come down to whoever does not get tired. We have to remember, guys, this card is at elevation, and this is fucking serious elevation. I mean, this is what, let me see. Salt Lake City elevation is about 4,000 feet, and we've seen cards there kind of turn to disasters. Mexico City elevation is fucking almost 8,000 feet. So it's almost double Salt Lake City. We got to keep that in mind as we're breaking down cards, as we're betting cards, stuff like that. MarQuel used to train at elevation. Both these guys actually used to train, I think, in Colorado elevation. MarQuel was at Factory X. I think he left. He's at MMA Labs now. Austin left, I think, the Colorado area to train with Bilal and them in the Chicago area. I think it comes down to whoever does not get tired. And Austin is a dog, and he typically is moving forward, but I got to go with a better fighter, all things being equal. I don't think Austin's going to get the takedowns. He doesn't set him up really, really well. And MarQuel being a former Factory X guy, those guys are usually pretty well prepared for takedowns. He's kind of a grappler himself. So this is probably an over 2.5 play. I think these guys probably get a little bit sloppy as the fight goes on, especially as we get past the halfway point in the second round. MarQuel does get hit. Austin does throw a nice left hook. I mean, he is pretty heavy with that left hook, even moving backwards. So if MarQuel is getting a little bit reckless moving forward, Austin will kind of sit on that nice left hook moving backwards or moving forward. So he's got to be careful of that. But MarQuel showed in his last fight, he can kind of take shots, work through kind of some weirdness, and kind of steal some fights as well. So I'm going MarQuel. He's a better fighter, and he should beat a guy like Austin. But I like Austin. He's a dog.
So Jacob and I have the exact same fucking pick. Jacob and I both said Austin is really tough, and yet half the comments are, thanks, Jacob, for the straightforward breakdown. What a fucking absolute joke. Jacob and I on the same side of this one, and lucky for him because I pick at a higher accuracy. Markel Mederos is the pick, but he is $8,700 in DraftKings Fantasy. I do think that's a full fade because the reality is $8,700 is a lot of points to score when you're not shooting offensive takedowns and when you're not knocking somebody down or finishing them. $7,500 for Austin. If you're on that side, that could score some points, but $8,700 for Markel. Going to be a full fade for DraftKings Fantasy. If you do want to unlock every single pick, bet, tool, and everything else that we offer, it's $10. $10. Think about your day today and how much money you spent on some dumb shit. For $10.
I spent $10 on fortune cookies. I only got
two fortunes.
66% fortunes.
Yeah, what a joke.
And Angelo picks higher than 66%.
That is true. Honestly, I'm going to be honest with you straight up. I was shocked. So I don't love, there's that dude, the UFC prediction.
I pick underdogs this year at 70%. I pick underdogs better than you pick cards.
That's 100% a true statement, literally. I mean, it's one underdog, and I have to pick an entire card. If I could just cherry pick a few.
Yeah,
I would have still gotten fucking smoked. But here's the reality, just truthful tequila-filled Ange. I don't like that UFC Prediction Tracker YouTube channel. I don't like it. I don't love that it's just reducing everything down to picks. Everything that Jacob does
I like
is
that
beyond
slide
the
when we picked Cowie.
Oh, yeah. No. That is why I started to be like, all right, let me fucking... Because you and I were two of like 6 people in the entire fucking webcam universe that said Cowie were going to win. And you and I were both confident enough to bet on him. And you guys know me, I don't fucking bet on shit. So the fact that we both bet on him tells you everything you need to know. And I don't love that whole like reduce everything they do down to picks. Jacob, the amount of time and effort he puts into that music video and everything else he does is insane. The amount of time and effort I put into putting these fucking graphics on the screen and a video out every Sunday, no matter what, is insane. And to reduce it down to just a list of picks is fucking bullshit to me. So I don't love that. But what is happening... I don't love it. But what's happening is I'm at the top of that fucking list every week. I'm somehow picking unbelievable. I did it last year. I'm doing it again this year. And now it's like, I kind of have to acknowledge this if I'm going to brag about how good I'm picking. So like, I'm in this weird middle, and good for that guy. Cause I can't imagine the amount of work he has to do to fucking keep track of everybody's bullshit. Anyway, WeWantPicks.com. Click become a member at the top. Couple of super chats. This dude said enchiladas. Listen, I say enchiladas. That's how I pronounce it. If you spell it phonetically, it'd be A-N chiladas. I now recognize it's wrong. I didn't know that was wrong. I said it that way my entire life. And it wasn't until 6 months ago that all the neighborhood moms were like, what the fuck did you just say? I was like, enchiladas. It's like, that's not how you say that. Now I know it's enchiladas. You knew that?
And you said chipotle. What'd you say?
I say chipotle. There's no L in my world. But what's funny is there's a video of Dave Portnoy on he's got the podcast with the two younger ones, and they're both like, what the fuck did you just call it? Like they're doing what everybody did to me. Like, no, it's chipotle. $10 super chat from Humble Reaper. Yuck. This fucking
Hey,
guy.
Nasser, suck my fucking cock.
We'll get there. Humble Reaper says, yuck. Hate these dudes, mostly Ange, but I hit a plus 4,400 parlay. Caillou by decision and Tainara by sub because of these guys. Sign up for premium. Watch these guys.
That sounds like a me thing.
I picked Caillou. Yeah, you got the Tainara.
Yeah, let's talk about the Molly fight.
I know Ange is sweaty, but it's worth it. I never know how to feel about that fucking guy. Also, somebody was like, Ange, do your kids watch these videos? You curse a lot. No, they're 6 and 8 and they're little girls. Why would they be watching these videos? Enema says, Angelo, over under 6.5 inches. Man, that's a perfectly set line. I'll tell you that. Curbside pickup, $4.99. Angelo looks like a young Richard Kind. Please hold while I Google Richard Kind. Was he good looking young? He's not good looking now. Was he good looking young? God, I hope that was like a Ben Affleck. Zaid Sharif, not a super chat. He said, too many people saying it's a close fight and siding with MarQuel. Hey, listen, fuckstick. Not every fight's a blowout. Some of these fights are close. Simple.
Could be a blowout.
And Michael MacArthur. This is Michael from that UFC 303 vlog. VIP Michael. Two-parter. Who does point? Dude, you can't ask. I'm going to save this for later. You can't ask these fucking questions in the middle of the stream. I'm going to save it. I'll get back to it, Michael. I promise.
Thank you for the donation.
We 100% appreciate it. I've saved it here. I'm not getting rid of it. We'll get to it. I promise you. Next up, at UFC Mexico, we have Jamall Emmers taking on Gabriel Miranda. Jamall Emmers, 20-8 in his career, 2-3 in his last 5. He is alternating wins and losses, taking on Gabriel Miranda, 17-7 in his career, 3-2 in his last 5. He's coming off that pretty bad knockout loss to Morgan Chairez. As we all know, Jamall Emmers has insane power in his hands, but he didn't start off as a striker. He started off as a wrestler. He's a pretty good wrestler at that. Very solid takedown defense at 90%. Takedown offense not as good at only 40%. If you look at his UFC record, he's only 3-5. He does have a losing record, but he's fought some really good guys. He's coming off that loss to Nate Landwehr, where we saw the power, we saw some of the composure, but he did slow down, and the pressure was kind of a problem. He's taking on Gabriel Fly Miranda. Gabriel's a slick grappler. I do fear he has fully transitioned into a jiu-jitsu nerd. It wasn't long ago. We'd break him down, said he had nice takedowns. Now here we are. He's coming off that last fight. He's pulling guard, doing all sorts of crazy shit like a small child. He's not quite what he was in the wrestling department, but his jiu-jitsu is very, very good. He's an old school jiu-jitsu guy. He'll work for positions. He'll maintain them. Then he'll look for a submission. He's not just pounding away on top. He's not snatching things up. The problem, though, is he can be submission or bust. Or if he's on his back, he'll just chill. He'll play the jiu-jitsu game instead of trying to work his way up. He's coming off that knockout loss to Morgan Chairez, where I mentioned takedowns just were not there. And I don't care how complicated math is getting nowadays. Sometimes we sit here. Jacob pulled that fortune cookie, said keep things simple. 1 + 1 can equal 2. And if we take the 1, which is Jamall Emmers' powers, we take the 2. Or sorry, another 1. We take another 1. I complicated it. We take another 1, Gabriel Miranda's chin, and it equals 2, which is Jamall Emmers should win this fight, should win by finish. I'm going the Jamall Emmers side. I don't care how quickly he was submitted by Pat Sabatini. That was a very different circumstances.
Dick,
I'm going.
You said.
I said Dickham. I definitely said Dickham. Jamall Emmers is the pick. I think he can win by finish. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Angelo has to have sex on the ground because the bed is at elevation too hard on the cardio.
Who the fuck said that?
Any truth to that?
Jake's banned. Korach. Go watch a Tapology Nerd because you're banned from here.
Listen, I like a guy like Jamall Emmers, and if he knocks out Gabriel's been getting knocked out. It's not going to be the most surprising outcome in the world because we've seen Gabriel get chinned. Jamall Emmers swings for the fucking fences. But there's just something about this fight that feels fucking weird because this guy, Gabriel...
No, because fuck you. Because you made fun of me because
I didn't say dick.
But you said weed.
Yeah, just a tonal thing. I didn't have a Freudian slip with dick on my mind.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Told on yourself there. This guy Gabriel Dick Miranda, he literally doesn't. I mean, he doesn't give a fuck. He comes forward. He will try to get the takedowns. He's taken down everybody he's fought. He taken down Benoit Saint Denis. He took down Shane Young and submit him. He took down Morgan Charrier. Got the back of Morgan Charrier. Got a little bit high, right? But when you're looking at Jamall Emmers and the way that he fights and the way that he was fighting his last fight against Nate Landwehr and the way that he throws strikes, if he comes in, number one, throwing strikes that aggressive to where he was literally throwing himself off balance. I mean, fucking winging shots to where he was stumbling off balance. Gabriel Miranda is good enough to level change underneath that and get a takedown. And if he gets a takedown, I think Jamall Emmers is in real big fucking trouble because, as you said, he got submitted pretty easily by an unconscious Pat Sabatini with a heel hook. But even if he doesn't get in a situation where he's overextending and getting taken down, and he is overextending a little bit too telegraphed to where the shot isn't knocking down Gabriel Miranda, isn't putting out Gabriel Miranda, that strategy is not a very good strategy to have at 8,000 fucking feet. And I'm going to keep bringing up elevation, but it's a real thing that we need to talk about, especially in a fight like this, because Jamall Emmers wants to knock everybody out with every single punch he throws. And if he doesn't get it done, this fight could turn very, very fast, because if you're on the ground and you're a grappler and both people are tired, Gabriel Miranda has been through those situations much more often than a guy like Jamall Emmers. And if both these guys start getting tired and turn sloppy late first round into the second round, I believe that Gabriel Miranda is going to be able to get those takedowns, get on this guy's back, and maybe choke him out. So, yeah, Jamall can knock him out. And if you're a premium member, I've bet both sides of this. I've pulled the best Angelo I could bet. Or I could fucking play, right? He'll play both sides, never bets anything. I'll play both sides, bet both sides. You can see what that is. My pick is going to be Gabriel Miranda. I think he's good enough in the striking to withstand the wild telegraph shit of Jamall Emmers. And if Jamall comes with those big shots, it's a level change. He's on the back. This guy's fucking good to do there. But, I'm a little bit biased. I had that Mexican blood fly parlay back in the day with Fly. And
did he win?
I think that was a Shane Young fight. I think he did.
Yeah, I'm not being a sarcastic asshole. I'm curious if he won that.
No, I know. I think he did. But I'm going Fly here with the little bit of upset. But I bet it both ways.
If you're gonna do the whole,
and someone said thank you for the nice breakdown. You guys are welcome. I'm trying here, guys. I mean,
who the fuck is
I'm trying. I got the lock of the week. I've been carrying the
Christ.
channel with the lock of the week. I mean, I'm getting fucking guys. I'm getting fucking tired, man. I'm getting fucking tired.
Too tired to do that fucking Hunter video that people are begging for.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, you damn right I am.
Listen,
back hurts.
If you're doing the quick math, there's two different formulas here. If you're doing the quick math of Jamall Emmers got sub by Pat Sabatini after almost knocking him out, yeah, Gabriel's the decision. If you're doing the quick math of Jamall Emmers has power and Gabriel just got knocked out, yeah, pretty simple math there. So I guess pick your side. You could have
kind of a weird knockout too. He was like kind of running. It was like a weird scramble, and he thought he was clear. And I mean, it wasn't like he was like this and got knocked out. He literally was his hands down and was like, "Oh shit, there's a left hand."
You're talking about Gabriel,
right? Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It wasn't like he just got like split the guard and he just got dropped or whatever. His hands were literally down. Wasn't even looking at Miranda, and Miranda he thought he was out of range and he wasn't, which is not good either. But
this could be an interesting fight. Last week, I was going to throw Carlos Ulberg in the safety parlay, and you were like, listen, blah, blah, blah. And so I didn't do it.
And lost.
And I was going to say, and I'm not, this isn't me shitting on you. Like Carlos technically won that fight, but I would have fucking sweated that out. You could argue he did not win that fight. It was very dicey. So this week, I am taking my time. I don't have a safety parlay up yet. I'm taking my time. I'll tell you right now, Jamall Emmers was somebody I'm considering, probably not going to do it because I've been convinced that a little risk. You can talk me out of anything, correct? Well, once you introduce doubt into my mind,
there was a time where Angelo used to, not console with me, but converse.
I'd ask. Hey, this is what I'm thinking.
Yeah, about the safety of parlay. I can tell you in 2025, he has not done that. So there was literally a time last summer where I literally picked like 3 or 4 safety parlays and they all won. So. Yeah,
but there's also been plenty of times where you were fucking dead fuck wrong. Like when I had Jalton Almeida against Alexander Romanov, and you were insisting Romanov's blah, 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 blah. Honestly, this week, not loving the lock. We'll get to it. I'm rooting for it. I'm not betting the other side because I'm rooting for the lock. Not loving it.
That's it. I get those texts from Angelo every single week.
Bull fucking shit, dude. The texts go the other way. I do my picks long before anybody else, and then he starts doing his research, starts to look at mine, and then I get a text about every single fucking pick I made and why it's wrong. Every week.
Angelo this week goes, sounds like you're going to have a perfect card. Can't wait to see it.
I literally was like, fuck him. You know what? If he's
sounds like you're gonna have a perfect card. Can't wait to see it.
That literally
wouldn't be the first time.
You emulated that, I guess, or articulated that. That was exactly how I wrote it. Like literally with that exact same energy. Fuck him. All right, perfect card. Looking forward to it. If you do want to unlock the picks and the bets, though, we want picks. It's $10. It's $10 a month. Not only do you get picks, bets, and tools, it's just an unbelievable way to support your boys who are out here grinding, making this all happen. WeWantPicks.com. Next up, at UFC Mexico, we have Rafa with an R. It's not Rafa. He's not Brazilian. He's Mexican. Rafa Garcia, and he's taking on Vinc Pichel. Rafa Garcia is 16-4 in his career, 3-2 in his last 5. He's coming off that finish loss to Grant, the most boring guy in the UFC roster, Lawson. He's taking on Vinc Pichel. Vinc Pichel, 14-4 in his career, 3-2 in his last 5. He is on an unfortunate 2-fight skid.
It's Vinc Pichel. It's Vinc Pichel.
Vinc Pichel taking on Rafa Garcia. Rafa Garcia. The breakdown I'm about to give you is more of a historical Rafa Garcia breakdown because who he has been as of late is not who he was originally. But Rafa Garcia, good grappler, heavy hands. He used to be an absolute dog. He would be wildly exhausted, could barely hold his head up. He was so tired. And he would still move forward, grinding, bombing away, trying to make stuff happen.
Do you want to give a little backstory on why you're about to blow this guy right now?
Oh, yeah, it's the next slide. We'll get there. Rafa Garcia used to be a dude that you could count on to go out there and fight his ass off and grind. But then there was the turn of the century. All of a sudden, he's a little inactive, not fighting as often as he used to. Didn't seem to have that same dog in him that he once used to. He seems to be more of a jabbing striker now than when he was a grinding, just in-your-face dog wrestler. He's coming off that TKO loss to Grant Dawson, who was able to take him down, control him, and then ground and pound him away. He's taking on Vinc Pichel. Listen, Vinc Pichel has one of the coolest nicknames in the UFC, but also some of the thinnest skin in the UFC. Nickname is Vince from Hell Pichel. Phenomenal, 10 out of 10. But he's the kind of guy, you make some comments, you question his abilities at 49 years old, whatever the hell he is, and he lashes out on Twitter. Calls you a binary, non-binary, soy boy. When he
says you, he's talking about you, not me. I didn't say shit to me.
It's anybody on Twitter that didn't think he was going to win his last fight.
You called him a fraud.
I did not call him a fraud. I was unbelievably
You said his mustache is fake.
Dude, I can't grow a mustache. Who am I to say somebody's mustache isn't fake? He should be sliding down a fire pole with a mustache like that. That's a great fireman mustache. The reality is Vinc Pichel is a good fighter. And this is what I said last time I broke him down. Vinc Pichel is tough. Vinc Pichel is a very good fighter. He's got good jiu-jitsu. His takedown defense sucks. It's only 25%. He's been taken down 24 times in the UFC. But his offensive takedowns are pretty solid. He averages 3 per fight. He's tough as shit. He's not somebody you're just going to get out of there. He's always in phenomenal shape, and he's always ready to go. But he's older. He's slowing down. Can't quite keep up with the young guys, and that's what we saw in his last fight against Ismael Bonfim. Ismael was just literally a little bit faster, a little bit cleaner. Vince was durable. What was that?
Hubbard gets it.
Hard bar?
Yeah, he gets it.
Oh. Well, don't worry. We'll get there. The reality is, Vince and I do have a little bit of weird Twitter history. Just like I'm filming this video right now in this moment. We talked about the fight. I picked against him in his last fight. I said Ismael Bonfim's going to win this fight. He's younger, he's faster, he's cleaner, he's got a good jab. Uploaded that to Twitter. Vince Michel lost his mind. You non-binary soy boy. You're pathetic. You're a Democrat. Just literally spiraled wildly out of control. Outburst after outburst. And I said, Vince, calm down. Calm down. Like when you grab a woman real strong. What did Sean Connery say?
Sometimes a woman needs a good slap.
Sometimes
and I don't think that's funny at all.
Sometimes a woman needs a good slap. And when Vince Pichel was wild and erratic and just losing his mind, just calm down, Vince. Pah! And I said, Vince, why don't we just grapple it out? Let's just have a fun grappling match, $500. I forget how much money. $500. I forget what it was. If you submit me, I'll donate to your charity. If I submit you, you'll donate to mine. Very simple. Charity, fun, good, clean content. Should be good. He said, let's do it. Man voice, man stash, the whole thing. I DM'd him, nothing. I got nothing back. The reality is, I am going to pick him to win this fight. And not because of the Twitter outburst.
Real quick, you sent one DM, and you were real clear you were not going to follow up. You could have kept following up. When are we doing it, Vince? You sent one DM and was like, hopefully he doesn't see that.
I don't give a fuck. If I lose, I lose. I'm supposed to lose. For me, it's a win-win. I get why he wouldn't want to. 6'3", 265 and a quarter, fully clothed at 8 o'clock at night after eating a meal. So I get it. The reality is I am going to pick Vince Pichel, though. I think Vince has the durability, which we are all 100% positive. We've seen it time and time again. I think he will be in unbelievable shape. And unless Rafa Garcia has completely transformed who he has been the last 2 years, he's not going to be the one grinding forward, getting in Vince's face, taking him down. The takedown defense, not great. That is the problem. But I do think Vince Pichel can win this fight. I'm picking him to win. I'm probably going to do a prop bet. I don't quite have the nerves to do a straight money line bet, but a win inside the distance decision, no action, makes a ton of sense for Vince, maybe even plus and a half. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Yeah, I'm picking Vince, and I'm not a fucking pussy. I bet him as well. And I reached out to my dude, Cody Brundage. He trains with Vince Pichel there at Factory X just to check in. How's the vet looking, And he said he's feeling good. He's healthy. Health issues has been a big issue in the past, but he's healthy now. He's feeling good. And I think if he's going to win a fight, this is the one he's going to win. And people will be like, hey, bro, dude, he's 42, bro. Hey, he's 42, bro. That's everything that everyone said about Jan last week with Ulberg. And Ulberg is fucking 10 times the fighter that Rafa Garcia, dangerous, everything. Dude, he's 42. Dude, he's 42. And then Jan went and arguably won that fight. Rafa Garcia is not fucking dangerous. He needs to fucking wrestle to really dominate this fight. And again, at 8,000 fucking feet, he's not going to be able to shoot takedowns nonstop. And once he starts getting sloppy and this turns into just a brawling boxing match, I will take fucking Vince Pichel in a phone booth boxing match against Rafa Garcia in the middle of the octagon 100 out of 100 fucking times to just get in there, get nasty, and just stay fucking dirty to pull out this fucking decision win, which is exactly what Vince Pichel is going to do. If not, maybe even find a submission, because if the pressure gets a little bit too much for Rafa, right? And he's kind of trying to default to the wrestling. I know Vince Pichel, you're going to be like, dude, Rafa Garcia's never been submitted. Bro, Vince Pichel has never submitted somebody, right? Oh my God, that's a crazy bet. It is like plus 2,500, right? Oh. It is a crazy fucking bet. But sometimes there's a little bit of crazy popping out of these nipples for UFC Mexico.
Dude,
right?
What?
Because when you get 8,000 feet, and you get a non-dangerous grappler that's getting sloppy, shooting bad takedowns against a fucking black belt in Vinc Pichel, who maybe hasn't really gone for submissions in the past, but all of a sudden the neck's right there and he's tired and he wants to get out of there. He wants to party in Mexico City. It is to eat his taquitos, have a beer, right? You just snatch the neck, the fight's over, and we all go home happy. Vinc Pichel wins. He's going to win by submission.
Listen, listen, you and I are both on the same side here, and what I love about that is we don't consult each other beforehand. I do my picks probably like 5, 6, 7 days.
I would never consult you.
It's weird because I pick at a much higher accuracy than you do. That's strange.
I think underdog is better than you pick anything.
Congratulations. You pick good underdogs.
You can't pick minus 400 favorites as well as I pick plus 200 dogs.
You pick one. Tell you what, starting this minute right now. First of all, you owe me fucking money because I was right last time in a pick. What's the one on this card?
The second that you pay me, I can pay you, and I haven't been paid, so.
It's not the end of the month. Second of all, this is what we're going to do. We're both going to pick one fighter each card from now on and see who gets more right. Because you won't do the who picks more right on a card challenge with me because I keep fucking smoking you in that.
I do it every time you ask.
Yeah, I know. We keep tying is the problem.
Because it usually only comes down to 2 or 3 fights.
That is a problem. This card we're wildly split, or no?
I actually don't know. Let me see.
I don't either because it feels like we're split based on the arguing, but we both, the last 2 fights, we were on the same side.
We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different. So more.
That's a lot. Yeah, that's enough to do it. Anyway, Jakey Boy and I are both.
But usually when we're different, it's I have the dog and you are the favorite. That's the issue. Literally, that's every pick. It's hold on.
Why is it an issue? If you trust your picks and I trust mine, who cares?
I have the dog. You have the dog.
Because I picked Borjas.
The dog. What was the 5th one? Yeah, I've got the dogs. Oh yeah, because I have Miranda too. Yeah, so I got like plus 300 dogs, and Angelo just picks all the favorites and just trust the process.
Okay. All right. Anyway, my picks go out before his do. So when I pick a dog and then he happens to pick the same one, then he gets all the credit in the world. Somebody picked it much earlier. Him and I are both on the Vinc Pichel side here. And if
for different reasons, I actually think he's going to win, and you're just scared.
I think he's going to win. I said he's going to win, but
yeah,
I'm scared to do a money line bet.
No, you're scared of him is why you're picking him. All of a sudden, you went from this guy's a fraud with a fake mustache to, I think he's going to win.
If you can produce a clip of me saying he's a fraud or has a fake mustache, I'll pay you whatever you want. Produce that clip. You'll get whatever you want.
Somebody fucking put that on
Produce
Twitter,
that
please.
clip. I'll give you whatever you want. Simple. Because all I did was compliment him, and then he fucking lost his mind when I picked the dude 15 years his it's not elder. What's younger? 15 years his. Anyway, WeWantPicks.com. Click become a member at the top. All the picks, all the bets, all the tools, everything that we do. $6,700 for Vinny. Honestly, that's decent DraftKings money. The fact that he is this big of a dog is crazy. Rafa's not a finisher. Vinc is insanely durable. This fight, in all likelihood, goes to a decision. And then on top of it, it's kind of a competitive fight. It's not like Rafa has been a killer lately. These odds are actually shocking to me how insanely wide they are. Does somebody thank you for your service?
I just sorry for there's troops
just
in
felt
there.
patriotic.
If you're an active, a former member of the military, let me know. I'd love to salute you. I know Angelo doesn't like to do that stuff, but I would love to salute you.
We got a couple of super chatterooskies. $4.99. Here's the Michael MacArthur one we kicked. 2-parter. Who does Poirier fight for his last fight? And if in New Orleans, can we get a commitment? Y'all will be there. This includes you too, Big Anch. Ooh, New Orleans is close. I've actually never been to New Orleans, ever.
Close. I think it's like 9 hours away.
By car. It's like a 45-minute flight. Like, it's close as shit. I've never been. Have you been?
I drove kind of through it when I moved here, but no, not really.
Get that kid out of here. I've never been. Get out of here.
It's an hour-and-a-half flight.
Yeah, that they include the buffer so they don't get fined by the FAA. That's a 45-minute flight.
And bags don't fly free anymore. I'm never flying again. I'm doing John Madden, taking the bus everywhere from now on. Do you know who John Madden is?
I do, and I do know that he was afraid to fly because what was he known for?
2 things he was known for.
He was a football coach and then a video games.
Who did he coach?
John Madden. Steelers.
Jesus Christ.
God, that was a decent guess, though. Who do you coach?
The Raiders.
The Raiders? Here. I used to be terrified of flying. Now I fly a ton. I have to fly for my job. I fly for We Want Pick. Like, I fly a ton now.
Sport. It's at the game.
I used to be terrified of flying to the point where at one point in time, when I was like in my mid-20s, Glover Teixeira wasn't Glover Teixeira, right? He wasn't who he is now. Him and I were training together with a bunch of other people, right? He was in Connecticut. I'm from Connecticut. We were just training together, whatever. He fought for the WEC. This is before UFC gobbled it up. In one of those fights, or in his second fight ever, or something like that, Chuck Liddell was cornering, maybe it was Ed Herman. I forget what the circumstances were, but Chuck Liddell saw Glover Teixeira fight and was like, this dude's a fucking animal. Went up to Glover and said, I want you to come out here and train with us in California. So he went out and trained in California, came back and was like, hey, Luigi, who my jiu-jitsu coach at the time was, like, Dan, Angelo, if any of you guys want to come out to California and stay at Chuck's house and train, you can. And I was like, I'm going to do it. And at this time, the Chuck Liddell was Chuck fucking Liddell. And I had the flight booked, had the full invite, everything. And I didn't go because I was too afraid to fly. Pathetic, sad bullshit, 100% true story. From that point forward, I just sucked the fuck up and started flying. So, it did suck.
Can I ask you a question? And this is kind of serious. I know that you're kind of on your tangents, listening to your self-talk, and you're really enjoying it. If you are blind, okay, how do you know when you're done wiping?
I think you have to, like, you do a wipe, and then that's the only way to know. What's your theory?
I don't know.
I think you have to give it a little.
Isn't it always going to kind of smell? Your asshole
no,
always kind of smells.
But when you smell blood, you know you're good. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's so clean.
You stand to wipe, right?
I actually do. And I know that's too. Like,
no.
Okay. Thank you.
It's
Good.
very normal. Yeah.
People were. I don't know if it is because people were like, when people found out
why would you?
You're gonna reach
over?
your hands.
Yeah. Why would you lean over and fucking just stand up? Just stand up. It's very easy.
You don't gotta tell me, man.
And look, you stand up. You ain't got to do anything instead of sitting here like fucking.
Dude, you don't got to tell me. People had a real problem with me when they found out I stood up to wipe. It was like controversial. It's like, what are you you dip your hands near the shit in the water? That's how you do it? That's crazy. So, good. I'm glad. It's finally something I'm not finally. Because people don't agree with the blow drying shit. So at least they agree with this. $1.99 from Brian with a Y. Brady shirt would have been fire. Saturday, I was promised. Did you owe people some Sean Brady shirts? Thank you for the $1.99.
No. Everyone there's like, dude. The only thing I said is if you won, I was going to buy 10 shirts. I spent $400 on shirts, and I said I'd try to give them away, but it's a difficult process. Some people got shirts.
It is difficult because I did that bet openly giveaway. I said if I hit this plus 1,000 parlay, I'll divide the money, and I did hit, and I did divide the money. Dude, it takes forever figuring out who's a liar, who's not a liar. Oh, my God.
When JDM smokes Bilal, and then if Sean Brady gets a title shot and JDM smokes Sean Brady, because we all know it's going to happen because JDM's the best 170 on the planet. It's not even fucking close. I'll get all those Sean Brady shirts in a pile, and I'll fucking burn them.
That'd be fun entertainment. Let's watch it. I will say, I do like Sean Brady a little more now. Not for beating Bilal. Who cares about that? The interviews where he was
Bilal,
like...
he says, thanks. I mean, this is the kind of stuff.
Sorry. For beating Edwards. But it was more for everything that came out, the interviews he did after, where he was like, fuck Leon Edwards and that bullshit. His whole camp, they're all arrogant assholes. Like, that just felt so real.
The comments after were right. It's like, where was that? You waited until you won to be all chest out. You could have had that energy when it was happening in real time.
I mean, that's true. Yeah, I mean, that's true.
It was happening in real time, and you just fucking ate it, waiting until you won, and then you said, I wished I would have done this. I wished I would have. You could have. You could have. He was talking all that shit right before all the face-offs and stuff. You could have done something about it then, but you waited until you won, and then you're like,
that's a good point.
Oh, you waited until you got back to Philly, and they were like, fuck them. Oh, fuck them.
That's a good point. You know what? I didn't even see it from that perspective. That is a good point. Because he was like, if he was going to put that water pistol, I was going to fucking... But you're right. That's a good point.
Because he was talking all that shit during the week. He was talking about below. He was talking about how short he was and stuff and this and that. And now Sean wins, gets back to Philly and was like, I told him I wasn't short.
No, he did say, I am short. At least what I
he
said.
was like 195 pounds or something. 198 pounds he was in there. See what he said?
Sean was?
Mm-hmm.
God damn.
He's a thick boy.
Yeah. Oh, here's the... Jesus Christ, we're this far behind. Here is the DM. It says, hey, Vince, easiest way to get a hold of me. This is after we agreed in a Twitter thread. We agreed already. So I said, I'm going to shoot you a DM. He said, okay.
This guy's at the firing range. He's not on there checking Twitter DMs.
He was checking Twitter DMs, calling everybody a soy boy non-binary. He was. He literally was.
There's a difference between notifications and DMs.
Well, then take it up with him. He's the one who started all these fights for no goddamn reason.
Here, I'll make this very easy right now.
There you go. Set it up.
No, let's go back. No. Go back to the slide real quick. I just want to take a picture real quick.
Okay, hurry up.
Now do double middle fingers.
No,
flip
this is
them off. Oh boy.
Okay, let's go. Next up this is your lock of the week. Next up at UFC Mexico, we have...
Spoil it.
You fucking put out a video yesterday.
Yeah, the whole point is to be like, hey, go check out the video. Now everyone's like, oh, don't even watch the video. That's cool. I get it. You hate the success. He's starting to get jealous, guys. I mean, he's starting to get jealous. I don't know if you see it. All of a sudden, I hit 4 or 5 lock of the weeks in a row, and Angelo shows up drunk on streams now all the time, yelling at everybody, cursing at everybody.
This is 3...
The success is really getting to him.
This is tricky because the last live stream we did, I was definitely tipsy because it was spring break. Then I did the Saturday fight night recap tipsy because it was a Saturday and I had a place to go. Then I did the Sunday video hungover because of Saturday. And now here I am Tuesday, a little tipsy. Somebody said we're watching Angelo turn into an alcoholic real time.
Turn into one?
That literally was my reply. It's like, bro, you be late.
Angelo's still talking about the time he didn't drink for 3 weeks a year and a half ago.
I lost 20 pounds. Next up at UFC Mexico, we have Julia Polastri taking on Lupita Godinez. We have an interesting breakdown here because Lupita Godinez is 12-5 in her career, but she is 3-2 in her last 5. She is in a 2-fight losing skid, and at one point in time, a highly touted prospect. Taking on Julia Polastri, 13-4 in her career, 4-1 in her last 5. She's coming off that win over Corey McKenna. We'll start on the Julia side. Pretty well-rounded fighter, slick striking, good grappling. Her striking technique is clean, plenty of just straight punches and kicks. She's got some decent power for this division. She doesn't really chase. She does get taken down somewhat easily when she is on the ground. She does have some good BJJ, though. She will hunt for submissions. She's coming off that decision win over Corey McKenna, where the striking was clean and it was nice and tight. She's taking on Lupita Godinez. Big, strong wrestler. Her sister is actually an Olympic wrestler. She, at moments in time, looks like she could be an Olympic wrestler. At other moments in time, looks like she wants to be just a striker. She does have clean everything. She's got good, clean striking. She's got good, clean wrestling. She will execute a nice bully-style game plan. She's got all the talent in the world. She can beat most, if not all of this division if she is fully dialed in to her potential. Problem is, some of the worst fight IQ we have ever seen. Wildly unreliable. She's coming off that close loss to Mackenzie Dern where the boxing looked clean, but she got tossed. She got absolutely tossed by some of the worst takedowns we have ever seen in that division.
It was judo.
And I phrased that a little. I meant to say Mackenzie Dern has some of the worst takedowns in history, and that's who tossed Loopy. But the actual takedown itself was clean and fast, and she got
good hip tosses.
Yeah, and it was like clean, like boom, took her down. Here's the thing. It's a Loopy Godinez fight week, and here's the full circle that most of us are going to do. We're going to start with Loopy's an unreliable asshole. How could we ever trust her again? Then we're going to go to like, yeah, but she is pretty fucking good though. And then we're going to go to like, listen, she made a couple of bad decisions, but she's not going to do that again. That's crazy. Then we're going to pick her. Then we're going to bet on her. Then she's going to let us down. And then we're going to go right back to Loopy's the most unreliable person we have ever seen in this division. And it's going to be a full circle. I am on that ride. I am on that full ride, and I am on the she should win. I'm going to pick her, and I would bet her if she wasn't a minus 220 favorite. The reality is, skill for skill in this matchup and most matchups, Lupi is the better fighter. She's got good, clean boxing. She's got that Mexican fighting spirit. She has very good wrestling. Her sister is quite literally an Olympic wrestler. And like, oh, she's not her sister. They grew up together. They trained together, literally. Lupi Godinez, if she's dialed in, is good at everything. I am picking Lupi to win. I am pretty confident in Lupi to win because in my mind, there's no way she loses 3 in a row, right? Somebody that talented cannot lose 3 in a row. We just had this exact same conversation.
Arguably already did.
We just had this exact same conversation about Kevin Holland. He's not going to lose 3 in a row. He can't. He tried to, but he didn't. Lupi Godinez is going to be the pick. I am pretty confident in that, but I understand everybody's hesitation on how insanely unreliable she can be. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Guys, I have the Lock of the Week video. I got it up early this week. It was posted last night. So before we get into anything, pause this video. If you're watching as a VOD, if you're watching right now, go check out Lock of the Week video. It's one of the best videos I've ever put together. Listen, me, Jacob, I was, and I promise you, you can go back and watch the videos, anything. There was nobody that was talking about Lupi as a future champion before me. There was nobody that was talking about Lupi as one of the best fighters in this division before me. Every single time Lupi fought, I was just like, you guys don't understand how fucking good this girl is. As Angelo mentioned, the wrestling, the striking, right? She went to Lobo and she started cleaning up the striking because she already had the wrestling and she's a tough girl and all this stuff. And then as things start progressing, I kept telling myself after every fight, I'm not doing it anymore. And then I do it again. And I'm not doing it anymore. And then I do it again. So every single thing that Angelo said, every single thing that you guys are going to say about Lupi this week, I've already said it. I've been saying it for fucking 4 or 5 years. Oh my God, her sister's an Olympic wrestler. Oh my God, she's got the striking. Oh, she beat Mackenzie Dern. She didn't lose that fight. There was only one fight in her fucking career, like lately. Obviously, she dominated Ariane Carnelosi, and Ariane can't really fucking do anything. The only time we ever saw Lupi look like she should look is against Elise Reed. Elise Reed can't stop a takedown at all. So yeah, she picked her up and slammed her down, submitted her, whatever it was. Every time we've seen Lupi since then, she just hasn't been what we think she is. When you're going back and forth, getting knocked down against Tabitha Reed, she should smoke Tabitha Reed. She should defend the takedowns and easily win the striking if you're that good of a striker. Against Verna, I said, all you have to do is just defend the takedowns in the first round and then punch her in the face in the second and the third rounds. And then Lupi just gets in this weird leg lock situation where she's trying to win a heel hook, whatever, and for no fucking reason in the second round of that fight, and then she wears herself out and can't finish the job in the third round to be a win in that fight. And then Mackenzie Dern's the same thing. It's like, if you are actually the striker that we think you are, defend the takedowns and just fucking punch Mackenzie Dern in the face. I have been on the Lupi side for my entire YouTube career. The first person to ever talk about Lupi as a future champion was fucking me. But sometimes fighters just are who they show that they are. And we just fucking saw that last week with Garam, right? I was on the same thing. Garam, a few years ago, I said Garam is a fucking future champion. And then as I'm watching film before last week, I'm like, you know what? Maybe he just isn't it. Maybe for whatever reason, he just can't put it together. And maybe for whatever reason, Lupi just can't fucking put it together because she doesn't wrestle when she should wrestle. In the striking, she can't be hesitant. She's got a nice heart, but a lot of times just 1-2. It's just 1-2. And she pops it out quick, but then she starts slowing down. And when she needs to fucking win rounds, she just doesn't fucking win rounds. I look at Julia. It's a bad bitch. It's a bad bitch. You're not going to have any issues with Julia moving forward trying to do shit. Oh my gosh, she lost a fucking nutsack. The fuck she did. Right? That fight goes 5-10 seconds longer in the first round, she gets a first-round finish in that fight. And I think she fucking... Everyone was talking about, she's going to get ragdolled in that fight. She was my lock of the week in that fight. Oh, she's going to get ragdolled. Did you see what happened? Dude, Jasmine took her down 4 or 5 times. She was getting ragdolled by Jasmine in 2021. Jasmine's a fucking big-ass girl who actually fucking wrestles. She's a 125, or now we're at 115. She fucking dominated nutsack on the fucking ground. She won that fight. She went through a split with fucking Corey McKenna. The fuck she fucking did. She dominated that fight too. And when she did get taken down late in that 3rd round, after she already secured the first 2 rounds, she is one of those girls that's active off her back, immediately looking for submissions. She's on her back throwing the elbows. You guys watched Kevin Holland last week, right? Throwing the elbows, threatening everything. That's the way Julia acts off her back. And Lupi's not a crazy good grappler. She can wrestle. She can get takedowns. Her takedown accuracy is, by the way, 47 fucking percent. So just this concept of, if all she's got to do is wrestle, it's like good fucking luck. And if she comes in with a wrestling game plan off the fucking jump at 8,000 feet when she's not really wrestling, it's like, I'll take that. Shoot fucking 10 takedowns in the first round, because Julia... she doesn't train at Elevation. She's been at Mexico City for a few weeks, and I know she's got the fucking heart. Nicknamed Psycho, Muay Thai striking, knees, elbow, has shown since her Contender Series fight, she has greatly improved in her offensive wrestling, defensive wrestling, offensive grappling, defensive grappling, and I think she's going to be the more aggressive striker. She's going to be the more dynamic striker. She can get Lupi in trouble on the ground if she wrestles offensively, and until I see Lupi look the way she should look, I will never fucking pick her. If she comes out and looks like Lupi, I will be so happy for her. I have a soft spot in my heart, but I can't fucking pick Lupi. I know Julia's a fucking bad fucking bitch, and she's going to be moving forward. If you guys have never watched Julia fight, honestly, you're going to like watching her fight. She fights not like a typical female. I mean, she drops the hand. She gets swaggy with it. She starts walking girls down, hands low. I mean, she is like... I don't want to say she's not like this. Is people are gonna roast me for this, but she kind of fights like Ruffy, like just very charismatic in there, head movement. Well, and when she gets hit, she wants to give it back too. So that was a long-winded rant. This is one of those lock of the weeks that everyone's gonna tell me I'm gonna lose, and I'll probably fucking win anyway. And that's usually the ones that win. Usually it's the public dogs that lose. Everyone was on Taco when I was on Taco. He almost lost. I think Julia could find a finish here. I like Julia.
Listen, I'm not gonna go nuts insisting you're wrong, you're crazy, and all those things.
You were in text.
I feel very strongly that Lupi's going to win, but obviously
when
the
has
caveat,
she shown that she's an actual complete fighter?
That's what I was going to say. That the problem,
it's all this idea of like she should.
That's what I'm going to say. I agree with you. Where the reason I'm not, I am very confident she's going to win. I am. She works her ass off. She's got all the skills. I'm very confident she's going to win. But
how do you know she has all the skills?
We've seen her have great striking. We've seen her have great wrestling.
When?
I thought her striking looked very good in her last fight.
When she was getting busted up by Mackenzie Dern? What are we talking about here? She
Mackenzie
got outstruck
Dern,
and busted up by Mackenzie Dern.
She didn't
when
get
did she come
outstruck?
in and dominated a strike with the striking? She goes tit for tat with everyone.
She doesn't get out. She didn't get out techniqued by Mackenzie Dern. Mackenzie Dern walks forward like a zombie, just So it doesn't matter how clean your technique is when you have somebody in front of you that's not going anywhere. And that's what that was.
She looked good in her striking against Emilu Ducati, who is a wrestler who thinks he's a striker.
Okay, and we've seen her look good in her wrestling. Like we have
against Elise Reed. That's it.
Okay.
Okay.
We have seen Lupi have flashes of great at everything. The question always becomes...
People have seen she picked up Elise Reed and slammed her on her head, and everyone was like, oh my God.
This is the fight that you and I will bet $500 on. I will put up $500. If I'm right, you give me $250. If you're right, I'll give you $500. We good?
Fine with me.
Okay. Done. And I honestly hope I have to pay you because it's more important that lock of the week wins than me being right.
You better fucking.
I mean, I'm not even fucking around. It's more important that lock of the week wins than me being correct. But like sometimes you just fucking start ranting and raving, and I just really want to be right. You admit Lupi is a very good fighter, or you've just fully abandoned that ship?
I have seen.
I heard the rant. I get it.
A back and forth fighter in every single fight she's. I've never seen her dominate a fight except for Elise Reed, and anybody that has any wrestling dominates Elise Reed.
I mean,
By the way,
listen,
I like Elise Reed. I mean, I want Elise Reed
I
the last
got
fight.
you. Yeah, I got you. I mean, listen, maybe you are onto something. Maybe you're the person who sees through the bullshit. The rest of us are still stuck.
This literally feels like the Garam situation. That maybe just we saw that, you saw that. Like maybe Garam.
I saw that. Yeah, you're right.
It is.
Yeah.
Garam looks like he should be good. You see the flashes, and he gets in there, and he kind of just freezes. Loopy kind of just freezes at times, and you're just like, "Come on, what are you doing?"
Maybe
because I think I've bet Loopy in every single fight she's ever fucking had, and every single time I sat here and was like, "She should fucking dominate this fight," and I'm sitting there like, "God, Loop, what? Come on!"
Yeah. Listen, I mean, maybe you are onto something in that, like, because you and I both picked against Garam, and we were both pretty confident in that. That was not a wishy-washy underdog Ange pick. I was pretty confident.
And this is not a bathroom break fight. Julia is a fucking. I promise you.
Guys, this will be fun. Yeah.
You guys are gonna like watching. If you've never watched Julia fight, you guys are gonna like watching Julia fight. Her nickname's Psycho for a fucking reason. She doesn't give a fuck.
No, this should be a good fight either way. I am actually looking forward to it. People want to trash women's MMA, and some of those fights are pretty atrocious. Others are pretty entertaining. Loopy can be fun. Loopy sort of matches energy. That's how I'll describe her. If you go after her, she'll go after you. If you're just going to hang on the outside and do nothing, she'll hang on the outside and do nothing.
I'm not questioning Loopy's toughness either. She's obviously a tough girl.
Yeah. No, it didn't come across that way. If you do want to check out all the picks, the bets, the tools, WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member at the top. Jakey Boy's got some bets. He is on this wild underdog lock of the week heater, which does bring me some concern. But the reality is this will be a very fun fight, and we should all see how this goes. And I honestly hope I'm on the wrong side of history here, or the right side. Well, no, I guess you would be on the right side. I'm rooting for lock of the week. I'm happy.
If you guys want to see, I did make a lock of the week video for her, like a highlight video. It's not on the lock of the week video this week, but it's on my Instagram. So if you want to watch that, and
why didn't you throw in the video? You just didn't want it to be too long.
It's already been in the video before, Angelo. I move on.
For who? Julia?
Yeah.
Oh.
Last year when she was lock of the week versus Nutsack.
Gotcha. All right then. Check it out now at JT_lines. Next up, at UFC Mexico, we have Costa taking on Christian Rodriguez. C-Rod is 12-2 in his career, 3-2 in his last 5. He is on a 2-fight win streak. He's taking on, oh no, is it a 2-fight win streak?
For who?
4-1 in his last 5. No. 1-fight win streak. He's bouncing back. His first fight at 145 that he won. He's taking on Costa, 22-7 in his career. He is 3-2 in his last 5. He is on a 2-fight win streak. Christian Rodriguez only has that 1 loss in his last 5. And that was to a UFC veteran, Julian Erosa. And that's what's tricky about C-Rod, because C-Rod is the prospect killer. It's official. Jacob and I were there live in person at UFC Vegas 101 when he beat Austin Bashi. The other person that was there live was Anthony Showtime Pettis. And he obviously trains with C-Rod and everybody else at that crew. And when Pettis was in the lobby, I went up to him. I was like, hey, that was a crazy fight for C-Rod. And he was like, this kid just keeps winning. I'm like, dude, he's a prospect killer. He's like, he is absolutely 100% a prospect killer. And that's what C-Rod has been doing. He just shows up. Everybody says he's not going to win his fight. And then he somehow wins the fight. And you can contest it. He's got a lot of contested wins. A couple of weird decisions. A couple of circumstances. He missed weight. Like lots of weird. There's almost never a clean, easy C-Rod win. It seems like his last win was one that most people agree on. Jacob and I were there live in person. It felt close. It felt like you could argue for Austin, but that is not what the rest of the universe says. So
I had it
maybe
30-24 Austin.
I mean, 100% genuine. In person, it felt like Austin won that fight. And then based off of 100%, not 90, not 80, 100% of the comments on YouTube, okay, then definitely the in-person feel and the on-stream feel were different because nobody thought Austin won that fight from afar. And it is what it is. C-Rod continues to defy those odds, continues to beat those prospects, but the 2 times that he fought a non-prospect, he did lose. And that might be a factor here. He's taking on Costa. Costa is not a young prospect. He is a prospect by some definitions, but he's not a young guy without UFC experience. He's got a good amount of UFC experience, well-rounded guy, creative striking, solid grappling, good takedowns. They can be forced, but he is strong enough, patient enough to get you to the cage, drag you to the ground, make something work. We know he's got good jiu-jitsu. We know he can make things happen. He strings together combinations well, and he's coming off that submission win over Andre Fili, where he was Jacob's underdog lock of the week. Do you know which one he was in that 6-fight win streak?
2, wasn't he? 1 or 2?
2? There we go. And it was a great, to kick the streak off, it might have been. It was a great underdog pick against Andre Fili, who was fighting at home. And it seems to be the energy that a lot of people are bringing into this fight. People are loving Mel Costa this week against, it was 2, against Christian Rodriguez. The reality is, I have never picked a Christian Rodriguez fight correctly. Ever. Not one time, ever. When I pick him to win, he loses. When I pick him to lose, he wins. I have never picked him correct. I'm going to pick him here, so do with that information what you want. The reason I'm going to pick him here is he does have clean striking. He has proven that the kid can defend takedowns. He can scramble well. He can stay on his feet. He has proven that he has unbelievable composure, even though he's a pretty young guy. He's proven that he can just win fights, whether he wins them authentically or somehow convinces the judges he should have won. This dude wins fights. I have never picked a C-Rod fight correctly. I am going to pick him to win here. Do whatever the hell you want with that information. But the last caveat I'll give you before I hand it to Jacob is I mentioned he has lost 2 times. Both of those losses are to non-young UFC prospects. He was taken down relentlessly by Jonathan Pierce. Julian Erosa subbed him. Mel Costa could fall into that category of not like a young, crazy, do dumb shit kind of prospect. Mel Costa's proven at this point, but I am going to stick on the C-Rod side. What do you think, Jakey boy?
My favorite part, and I think I can't remember if I texted you this or not. My favorite part about the whole Mel Costa stuff this week is because I was considering him for lock of the week, and all the comments are, dude, it should be Costa. It should be Costa. Every single motherfucker that was telling me, dude, Andre Fili's gonna fucking smoke Costa, dude. Andre Fili's gonna fucking smoke Costa. Is the same, you know who the fuck you are too, is the same motherfuckers that are like, I can't believe you're not picking Costa against C-Rod. I can't believe he's not your lock of the week against fucking C-Rod. I would be very fucking careful picking Mel Costa this week against a guy like C-Rod, especially at a fight at fucking elevation, because if there's one thing that C-Rod has shown in his career is that when things start to get tough, when things start extending, when there's these extending grappling situations and things, he always wins those fights, except for the Jonathan Pierce. But Jonathan Pierce is a little bit different. He's kind of fucking relentless. But the reason why he's winning all these fights is because these young process come in, blow their load, and then he starts taking over. It is interesting that he lost to Erosa in literally the exact same fashion that Costa beat Fili. Like, got taken down in just kind of a slow motion, reach over guillotine and pull the guillotine. I don't think that's going to happen again. The reason why I worry about Costa is a couple things. One, he can be taken down, right? Fili got that takedown pretty easily, and I have to imagine C-Rod's not going to get caught twice in the same type of guillotine. Now, Ricardo Hermosa's done that a few times now, but I have to imagine C-Rod's going to be well aware of that. The second thing, I'm going to actually say 3 things here. The second thing is Costa does get hit. Andre landed a nice shot, and on the feet, C-Rod is a kind of in-your-face, keeps the pressure on boxing. The third thing is Costa loves space that I don't think C-Rod's going to give him, and in that space, he loves kicks. Kicking, a lot of powerful kicks. That zaps a lot of energy out of you. Angelo, you know, when you're throwing all that body weight into a kick, it's a lot harder than when you're just pumping out a jab. And at 8,000 feet, that's a cause for concern that even if this starts playing out, when your whole game plan is kicks, those really start to wear you down. If this gets into a dirty dog fight, I got to take C-Rod in that fight. The issue is, almost religiously, I can't fucking pick C-Rod. Like, fuck that dude. I can't fucking pick C-Rod. Fuck that dude, man. Isaac Dolgarian's my fucking boy. Isaac Dolgarian fucking smoked this dude. It was the biggest robbery I've ever seen. I've got my own personal beef with C-Rod. Last time he fought against Bashi, he looks through the fence right at me and fucking flips me off, gives me the finger. I didn't say a fucking word to this fucking dude. I'm just sitting there minding my own business, gave him a little thumbs down. Guy couldn't handle his fucking emotions, flips me off in the middle of a fight. So fuck C-Rod. I'm going with Costa in this fight. But I do worry. He seems like he's the public dog. A lot of times the public dog really kind of falls flat. C-Rod is he's a tough, durable dude, but fuck that dude, man.
Here is a picture. I don't know why the left one is vertical. That's not how this was established. But here is a picture. Jakey Boy and I were there live. My first ever time to the Apex. Jacob had been there a few times. We were there for C-Rod's last fight. As you can see in this picture, I don't know why the hell it's vertical, but the whole camp is sort of waiting at the entrance of the runway there to walk to the cage. And as they're waiting, Jacob just thumbs down, nothing, not a middle finger.
I didn't say a fucking word to him.
Didn't yell, didn't say, just thumbs down, took a picture of the thumbs down to send it to Isaac Tokarian. Honestly, all innocent bullshit. Who cares? He's, not a big deal. The picture on the right-hand side, however, is C-Rod holding Austin Bashi against the cage, looking over directly at Jacob.
I was at the fight with my two young boys. If you guys don't know, I have a 7-year-old and a 4-year-old, and I was sitting there like, oh, look at this. This is a great fight, boys. Like, look at this fight. Like, oh, see, and I was trying to explain the position they were in. I was like, look, everyone, look. See this position? It's a little bit of he's got the overhook, and then C-Rod looks at my sons right in the face and goes, fuck you, little boys. And I was like, whoa, C-Rod.
That's what this is. If you look at this still image on the right-hand side, that is C-Rod looking. Listen, this like white hand and this gray shirt, that's me. That's me to the far right. That's me. Right next to me is Jacob and his two young children, and C-Rod's just looking right at us. Thumb out. Dude, thumb out. Here's like, hey, guys, screw you. This is fuck you. Screw you. Fuck you. Yeah, these are very different. This is what I
do, too.
Yeah, these are very different.
Because last time I was at the Apex, I gave the guy the fuck you.
Dude, thumbs out is very different.
And the best part was I was sitting there. He like looks, makes direct eye contact with me, does it, and I was like, I looked to the guy next to me. I was like, and he was like, and the guy next to me was so funny. I look at him and he goes, like, no, that was to you. Like that was to you. And I was like, oh shit. I was like, what the fuck did I do?
I just hate that I just didn't happen to be recording at that moment. We were filming a vlog, but I didn't have just like a camera going. So
he seems like he was cool about it afterwards. I put it on there.
Very cool about it.
I just put it this week too about I was like happy C-Rod fight week, and I put the clip of him actually doing it. And he sent me a DM and said like I love you or whatever. So
yeah, no, he definitely
he seems like a fun guy, but fuck that.
Definitely
dude.
Seemed to have a good time.
I'm Team Isaac for life. Fuck C-Rod.
This should actually be. Listen, every C-Rod fight that he's in somehow ends up being controversial. Somehow ends up being the talk of the town.
That's another situation where it's like I didn't do anything, and I'm in the middle of something.
Yeah, you do end up in a lot of random controversy.
The only thing I'd started myself was when I looked that guy dead in the eye and I said, fuck you.
I'm picking C-Rod. Jakey Boy's picking Costa. The odds here are interesting. They're not far, but they're not close either. Like right smack middle of the road here. It is going to be an interesting battle. I do think this goes over 2.5. I think we have a decision here. Both of these guys are durable. Both of them will actually put on some heat as well, but I think we're going to end up in a decision here, especially at elevation. $8,400 in DraftKings Fantasy for C-Rod. I actually don't think he's worth that money because he doesn't shoot takedowns. He doesn't end up with control time. He doesn't get knockdowns. He just controls the pace, moves forward, lands some strikes.
He's going to be taking Melk down, I think.
You think he's shooting to offensive takedowns?
Melk's pretty easy to take down, and he can control him on the ground. Especially 8,000 feet, you just wear this guy down. He's coming off a fight. I mean, not even real fight camp, honestly. He just fought 6 weeks ago. So
yeah, Costa. And what is interesting here is that it's not as if C-Rod had at least not publicly, a different opponent who dropped out and Melk is stepping up on short notice. This is just put together, right? Unless you know something I don't know.
I know a lot of things that you don't know.
Okay, yeah, like how to fucking
ruin marriages.
the best gauge tint for a van. Creep.
Why would he have windows on a van?
Exactly my point. If you do want to unlock all the picks, the bets, the tools, and everything else, WeWantPicks.com. It is by far the most comprehensive, robust, most complete solution to your fight night needs. Go to WeWantPicks.com, click Become a Member. Literally everything you could ever want or need heading into it's fucking $10. The sales pitch takes longer than $10 worth of time. It's $10. If you sign up right now, you get clean through UFC 314, which is shaping up to be the best pay-per-view of the year.
Is that Volk and
It is, and the co-main event is Patty and Michael Chandler. We get the premiere of Pitbull.
I was just kind of sitting there thinking about that today, and I was like, I think Chandler might be able to fucking knock that dude out.
Dude, I mean, Patty's chin, the dude is like sniffing the highest air possible. Like his chin is way up in the air. And Michael Chandler will swing.
I mean, he's kind of almost beat everybody. He almost knocked out Chandler. He almost knocked out Oliveira. I mean, he's fucking...
My issue with it is
he's had real good success against Dustin as well. Are you kind of hedging the Chandler side as well?
I'm going to pick Patty. Spoiler alert. The only reason, I don't even know what the odds are. I imagine Patty's a favorite. The only reason I'm going the Patty side, though, is because even though Michael Chandler is either a Division I champion or Division I All-American, that dude was just out-wrestled by Charles Oliveira. And Charles Oliveira is good at everything. We know that. But he out-wrestled the shit out of him. He didn't catch him in some scrambles. He out-wrestled him start to finish, and if Patty just moves forward and shoots takedowns, then clearly he can win. That's the problem.
Somebody said about Patty, I can't remember who it was, that he learned judo because he's not tough enough to wrestle.
That's a funny comment.
I can't remember who said that.
I also saw people saying Patty the Sadie after Molly lost with him like crying, but that's like his best friend, so like you can't give him a hard time for that.
Hell, I almost was in fucking tears when Brundage won that lock of the week when I was there. So yeah, I couldn't imagine if it was like my actual
best friend,
like camp, like in camp, and they were retiring and stuff. Especially when she went out too. Like, obviously people have whatever they say about Molly, but it's always tough to see somebody with that type of charisma and fan support go out like that. But I called that.
Dude, Molly retired as cool, the coolest possible way you could retire on a loss. Molly did. Like for the most part, you lose and you retire, and you're like, I just love you guys. Molly was like, if I can't beat her on 1 week's notice, I can't beat anybody, and I shouldn't be here. But I thank everybody for having me here. Like that is literally the perfect retirement in those circumstances. Like literally,
we love people that are self-aware.
Like honestly, when people were shitting on Molly, and I hate that she has to see that on the internet because, like, yeah, her skills weren't there, but she was never a fucking bitch. She showed up, fought her ass. The fuck, your mother bust in the room?
No, it's like pouring down rain right now. I didn't even know it was supposed to rain.
Oh, I don't hear it yet. Maybe it's on its way here. I actually did get a thunderstorm alert on my phone. So,
just like a mini little thing. But I was like, what the fuck?
All right, let's move on to the next one. We'll hit the super chats after the next one. Next up, at UFC Mexico, we have Jose Daniel Medina taking on Ateba Gautier. Jose Daniel Medina, 3-2 in his last 5. He is looking for his first UFC win, but he is 11-4 in his entire career. He's taking on Ateba Gautier, 6-1 in his career. Obviously 5-0 in his last 5. This is his official UFC debut. Ateba is a nasty striker, incredible speed, good power. He does a really phenomenal job mixing up boxing, kickboxing. He'll throw to the head, he'll throw to the body, he'll light up your guard. He will absolutely pour it on you. He's very dangerous. And not only does he have 5 finishes in his very short 6-win career, but 5 early finishes. He's a freak athlete. He comes out hot, but like so many others, that flame can die down as the fight goes on. His cardio is mediocre, as is his ground game. He's taking on Jose Medina. You might see him as Daniel Medina or Jose Daniel Medina. He's a ground and pound guy. He's got decent striking, decent top work. He's a throwback to the old school days of MMA where he's just going to move forward, grind you to the ground, and then just sort of elbow and work from there. If he could throw headbutts, he would. Old school Mark Coleman style. He's as okay striking. The boxing is somewhat clean. It's nothing crazy, right? It's not anything that you should write home about. I would not rely on him to win a striking match. But his hands are in the right places at the right times. He keeps them tight. Takedowns are just okay. But if he ends up on top, he's awesome at maintaining positions. He does a really good job doling out some damage. He's a very, very insanely durable guy. He is coming off of that decision loss to Zach Reese, which you might look at that and be like, well, Zach Reese just got knocked out. Zach Reese sucks. Therefore, Jose sucks. But if you watch that fight, what you will see is Jose get absolutely battered, bruised, and beaten. Not show a lot in the way of actual like skill sets, But that dude took his beating, never quit for 1 second, ended up on top multiple times, and continued to fight no matter what. And that's the reality of this situation. Ateba should win. He is the pick. He should be the pick. But the reality is, as Jacob has pointed out several times, we're at 8,000 feet elevation. Ateba was gassing out in Las Vegas. And I think that's below ground. I think they have levees built to prevent water from pouring in there. And if you're gassing out at elevation,
I think it's 1,000 feet or something.
Okay, well, if you're struggling there, you're going to struggle in Mexico City. And if Ateba does,
it's 2,000 feet.
Okay, so 1/4 of where they're at this weekend. If Ateba can't get Jose Daniel Medina out of there early, he is going to fade quickly and likely lose the minutes after that point. I am going to pick Ateba. Because if I'm just looking at these guys and their skills and what they can do and can't do, I'm going to pick them. But the reality is, he is a minus 425 favorite. I don't know how many times in 2025 we have to see these wild, wide odds on UFC debuts get absolutely smoked and then act surprised later. This is like, he should win. I'm picking him to win. He should win. Bet him to win by knockout, right? That's what should happen. But the reality is the dude slows down. This is at elevation. He's fighting one of the most durable guys we've ever seen. This could be just an absolute disaster for a lot of people. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Yeah, one of my favorite things about Medina is you hear a lot of people, especially the commentators, DC, Cruz and Felder and Bisping and all of them talk about a lot of people, you can kind of out-tough a lot of things, right? There's some people that just are just built, born, whatever it is, with granite chins. And no matter what you do, they can just kind of work through the position. They might get stunned, might get whatever, but they can kind of work through what's going on to get to where they need to be able to survive. But you'll hear a lot of people talk about when it comes to body shots, you just can't really your body shuts down and it just kind of is what it is, right? You get hit in that little spot and you can't out tough as much as you try, you can't out tough a body shot. Unless you're fucking Jose Medina. Because if you watch that Zach Reese fight, he got fucking, I don't know if this guy even has a fucking liver because he got toes, body shots, everything in that liver. And every time he got hit, he went like this. And he just kind of went like this. And he just fucking, like any other person would have been on the ground shitting their fucking brains out. And it wasn't just one shot. It was one shot. He goes, and then Zach Reese toes in the liver again. Pop. He's like, and then he fucking toes it. There was like 3 minutes of that first round where he's just like, oh, God. It just toughs out the shot and then gets a fucking takedown on Zach Reese in the first round of that fight. If you're Medina, I think the game plan is just charge through whatever bullshit that this Ateba guy is going to throw your way. Try to get to a clinch, get this guy to the ground, and just make this a fucking dirty, fucking extend this fight as much as you have to, right? Because you're probably not the better fighter. You're probably not going to be the better fighter in a lot of fights. But the reason you're here in the UFC is to win fights like this, to be the durable guy. That's why you were signed. He turned that fucking Magomed, whatever the fuck his name is, into a wrestler. He turned Zach Reese into a wrestler because they tried to strike, right? And then they couldn't fucking put this guy out, and they're like, oh shit, now I gotta fucking wrestle because I'm getting fucking tired. Guess what Ateba can't do, in my opinion, if this fight starts going south? He's not going to be able to get takedowns and control this guy. And if there's one thing we got to remember about Medina as well is he was a 205er, lost that fight or whatever, and he's really, physically is dedicated to himself. It seems like he's really trying to get better, so I wouldn't be surprised if you see some drastic improvements from Medina in this fight. Ateba should win. He's going to be my pick. I'm not fucking betting the guy because I'm going to be cheering my fucking face off for Jose fucking Medina, because if he pulls this off, it's probably going to be a wild fight where he survives shit, comes back, and that place is going to go fucking bananas if he fucking pulls this shit off. So we've seen crazier upsets than what this would be, even though the odds are kind of crazy. I'll be rooting for Jose as a pick. I'm going to Ateba, but I'm keeping my money off of it, and I'm rooting my dick and balls off for Jose Medina. If there's, for what he's been through in the Contender Series fight, in these last two fights, the beating he's taken, it almost just seems like this is the moment that the world has prepared him. Just like the Fortune. What is it? Let's see, where is it? This feels like this is his fortune. Bide your time, for success is near. Just feels like this in Mexico City. I know he's not Mexican, he's Bolivian, but it just feels like this is the moment where he's going to pull off this upset and get it done. So I'm taking Ateba as a pick. I have to. He's a better fighter, but whoo! I hope, man. I hope.
Listen, it should be a fun one. It will be interesting for sure. And you mentioned we've seen some upsets. I don't have the official stats in front of me, but we have had more cards. This is a wild statement by me, and I have not validated with the statistics, but sounds true. We have had more of the biggest underdogs win on the card in 2025 than 2024. Meaning, we watched, who was that fucking gorgeous pretty boy, minus 1,200 that lost? He got taken down, couldn't defend takedowns. UFC 311, I think it was, 310.
I didn't lose.
Anyway, who is that gorgeous pretty boy? Peyton Talbot. Peyton Talbot lost. Minus 1,200 favorite. Just last week, the biggest favorite on the card lost. 2 weeks ago, the biggest favorite on the card.
And he's
lost.
not undefeated, but I think undefeated fighters this year like 6-17 or something. It's crazy, the stat.
And dude, 2025 has been, it's Jacob's year to thrive. I'll tell you that. The whole underdog, not being afraid to pick underdogs. This is your fucking year, and that's Jakey boy is thriving.
I thrive every year, Angelo.
This year, last year, the year before that, Jacob is a thriver.
Over 45 units lifetime.
Lock of the week's unbelievable.
Yeah. Tell me something I don't know.
All right. I don't know how we're arguing and agreeing at the exact same time, but we figured it out, Jakey boy. If you do want to check out...
The difference between me and you is I keep my confidence through thick and thin. I'm like, you know what? I know I'm going to bounce back. And you?
I fucking waver. I waver.
Crumble.
There's a difference.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
That's me on a roller coaster. Is what that was.
God.
Listen, I waver. I'll tell you right now, I waver. Because you lose a couple bets in a row and you're like, fuck, did I lose it? Do I not have the touch anymore?
I lose 4 in a row and I would say, watch this. I literally, remember when I said that like 2 years ago, I said, leave a comment, and if I lose my next lock of the week, I'll give fucking $500 to somebody next time I lose. And I fucking won like 3 or 4 in a row, and I was like, okay, next time I fucking win, or next time I kept going back and forth or whatever. I literally was like, I'll give away $500 I fucking lose the next lock of the week. Put the pressure on yourself. Be a fucking man about it. I literally sent Angelo a text last night. I'll bring it up. Did you watch the video?
I did watch it, yeah.
So this is what I said. I said, I don't know if it's going to focus, but it's
you basically said, just watch this and pick safety parlay.
I said, watch this, then make your fucking safety parlay, pussy. And this is the TikTok.
What would you say to somebody who said you're shooting too many threes? Fuck them.
It's Anthony Edwards.
Locker room staffer in Denver, you were going to be back for
Hell yeah. They know y'all was in there. Yeah, I told them. I said, I'll see y'all for game 7.
Anthony Edwards is the king of fucking just fucking. You don't give a fuck, man.
Never
I'm
rattled.
the fucking man, and get the fuck out of my way.
Yeah. Well, listen, it's funny because I do have wild confidence in a lot of things, but I'm not built for the internet. I was never built for the internet. I grew up half internet. I'm 40. So I half had the internet. I half did not have the internet. I didn't grow up with the internet. We got it at volatile years in our life. So I'm not used to it still blows my mind that hundreds of thousands of people, and that's not an exaggeration, go to fucking socialblade.com. We do anywhere from 3 to 500,000 views a month, depending on the quality of the cards. Hundreds of thousands of people will watch this content. That blows my mind. Then the amount of people that comment blows my mind. And anytime I get bombarded with negative bullshit because I missed a few picks, despite being one of the most accurate pickers on the goddamn planet, it does get to me. And it's crazy because I am one of the most nonsensical, confident people in the world for no reason whatsoever. Brian, my buddy, who you know, literally, we were arguing about something and I said something wildly confident and his wife was like, oh, okay. And Brian, he's got me fucking pegged. He was like, don't listen to him. He just fucking says shit confident. That doesn't mean he's right. And he's not wrong. Like, I am like, I'm saying it with conviction and I'm going to will this.
I mean,
but
that's
sometimes
what, like, my lock of the week breakdowns. That's what, after my Julia rant, I looked at the comments. Everyone's like, damn, he's a salesman, huh?
Yeah.
Somebody was like, I might buy you a BMW or something. I can't remember what they're fucking saying, but yeah, I fucking believe in it. I don't do just shit to do it. I just fucking, sometimes you talk yourself into it.
That is what happens. Everything I say, I believe. I don't just make shit up. Everything I say, I believe, but I do talk myself in and out of things. And if I'm doing well, I'll talk myself into anything. If I'm not doing well, and I see all these fucking basement dweller pussy losers say whatever, I will talk myself out of stuff like also. So like, you're right. I do.
Can't you ever talk yourself out of a meal?
I just weighed myself 265. Fucking
don't weigh yourself again. Let's see. This will be the real.
I gained weight during the stream.
No, because if you drop like 4 pounds or something in an hour and a half, it's like, holy shit, you are fat. Dropping weight like that.
I've been drinking this, but I also have to piss. I imagine it's a wash. Next time I pee, I'll weigh myself. We'll see. We'll do a live tracking. Please become a premium member at WeWantPicks.com. It's wildly beneficial to all of us, including you.
What do you say to people who say you take too many threes? Fuck them.
What is the criticism on him, that he misses a lot of threes?
He doesn't do anything wrong.
In his eyes, but why would they say that he takes too many threes if he's hitting them all?
He doesn't do anything wrong. You gotta take him to hit him.
Next up, at UFC Mexico, we have the featured fight of the evening. We have Edgar Chairez taking on CJ Vergara. Edgar Chairez, 11-6 in his career, 2-2-1 in his last 5. He's coming off the decision loss to Joshua Van. He's taking on CJ Vergara, 12-6 in his career, 2-3 in his last 5. He is riding back-to-back losses, unfortunately. Edgar Chairez, at this point, we all know who he is. He burst onto the scene, had a couple of really close fights. And he's really kind of making a name for himself here. He's just a durable, tough, embodying that Mexican fighting spirit. He's a well-rounded guy overall. Striking offense is fast. It's in your face. Takedown defense is decent. BJJ is pretty good. The real issue for him is that he is insanely hittable, but he's so tough and he's got a good chin. He'll just take that beating and continue to try to make that fight happen. He's long. He's lean. He uses all of that to his advantage. He is coming off that loss to Josh Van, where he was using his reach pretty well. He blasted Josh a handful of times, but he was almost finished. He did a wild spinning back fist that revived him a little bit. Like, it was just a testament to his durability overall. He's taking on CJ Vergara. CJ's a guy I've been high on in the past. He's like a little Energizer bunny. He's going to move forward. He's going to be busy as shit. He's going to stay in your face. He's going to do stuff. He's a striker, solid forward motion, clean boxing, good knees. He likes to fight inside the pocket. He'll use his clinch. Ultimately, he's got that never say die attitude. We've seen him almost finished many, many times just to survive and come back and try to sneak out that win. BJJ is solid, decent scramble skills. He is coming off, though, that loss to Ramazan Temirov, where he was dropped 3 times ultimately before being finished. CJ's a guy, as I mentioned, I've been high on him in the past. And it is hard for me sometimes to just remove that bias, that inherent bias I have for a guy that I like, that I've watched, that's won me some money. CJ is one of those guys, but I have to remove the bias here because the reality is CJ just doesn't seem to be that guy when he needs to be that guy. And Edgar Chairez is always going to be there. He's always going to be tough. He's going to fight his dick off no matter who's in front of him. And I think Edgar Chairez can win this fight. Even if CJ wins early, even if CJ is busy early, Edgar can take over. Edgar can sneak this out. He can be long. He can be lean. He can be tough. Edgar Chairez is going to be the pick here. Obviously, he's almost a 3-1 favorite. I do think CJ's a decent underdog, though. Probably avoiding bets here. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Yeah, I think there's a real opportunity here for Edgar to kind of really dominate this fight. I honestly went into this fight thinking, like, I don't know if Edgar's really that dude. And CJ, as you mentioned, can be a dog at times. I was looking at CJ's Instagram, and it seems like he's kind of on this rebirth train of, like, I'm leaving behind the person I used to be and reinventing myself, and his hands look fast. I started getting caught up with stuff and thinking, like, oh, maybe CJ's that dog pick this week or whatever. And then I rewatched that Edgar fight versus Joshua Van, and I was like, Oh, shit. Edgar is actually fucking good. I mean, the way he was popping out that jab, the calf kicks as well. Obviously, he's already shown time and time again how tough he is, but the durability, that was the same situation where he kind of out-toughed the body shots, right? Where he's just kind of like, fuck, and just like one last little go, and it fucking landed, thank God. And honestly, CJ is like it's no disrespect to CJ because Joshua Van is a very good fighter at this point, and I've been a Joshua Van hater, but it's pretty obvious he's good at this point. CJ is kind of a 60% of what Joshua Van is. I mean, they kind of want to do the same thing. They want to get in your face and box, and they might have takedowns, but I don't know if he's going to take a guy like Edgar Chairez down. Edgar's shown that even if you do shoot a takedown, I mean, he is very live with those front chokes with the guillotines and stuff like that. So I went into this fight trying to find reasons for CJ because I wasn't sold on a guy like Edgar. So I hate those people that are just like, the second you shoot anything on them, they want to grab the easy out and then fall to their back, and then they're kind of stuck there. But against CJ, I don't think that's too much for concern. So I went into this fight trying to find reasons to pick CJ, and I came out of the fight thinking Edgar's going to win this fight. And I'm looking at that. I think the -3.5 on Edgar Chairez is a -120. And -3.5, you get a dominant decision or an inside the distance. And I think there's a way that he could find a finish here, either with a submission on a bad CJ shot. Like, again, at elevation, things get weird, sloppy. And if Edgar starts moving downhill on a guy like CJ, it could spell trouble. So that -3.5, you get a dominant decision or an inside the distance win. I like Edgar Chairez here to win, and I think he can probably do it in dominant fashion. That jab against Joshua Van was like, holy shit. Like,
the spinning back fist after getting his ass kicked. Like,
that was a desperation, whatever. But, I mean, early on, he was fucking eating Joshua Van up with the jab and the calf kick and stuff like that. And if he starts working that jab against CJ, I don't think CJ is going to find the adjustments that Joshua Van did.
I get what you're saying, that the spinning back fist was desperation, but at the same time, it's just a testament to not going to quit, going to fight no matter what, and like just always in it. And CJ Vergara is kind of that guy, but he's just not as durable as Edgar. Jakey Boy and I both on the same side here. $9,000 in DraftKings Fantasy. Man, that's dicey because CJ can be finished. He has been finished. Edgar is, a tricky guy with the wildly long limbs and the submissions that can come with long limbs. Could be somebody that's worth exploring for DraftKings Fantasy, but don't take my word for it. Check out the DraftKings Optimizer. Check out the Fight Simulator. Check out what our artificial intelligence has to say. It's not just me, Jacob, and a couple of blokes from New Zealand picking fights at WeWantPicks.com. We have an artificial intelligence that's also picking fights based solely off of historical data, and it has been doing so at a remarkable accuracy. Check out the artificial intelligence. Check out all the picks, all the bets, all the tools right now. WeWantPicks.com. Just click become. It's fucking $10. $10. We didn't raise the price for inflation. Eggs are $10. So is premium. WeWantPicks.com. Click become a member at the top. Couple of super chatterooskies. $2 from Enema. Everyone, especially the handicap, need a bidet. This is back to when you and I were talking about standing up to wipe our asses. I've never used a bidet.
I think I talked about this maybe on one of my live streams before. And people could be asking if those live streams have come back. Honestly, at this point, it's kind of been like I haven't mentioned.
It's been nice not to do them, is what's happening.
No, it's been Lock of the Week's been winning when I haven't been doing them. So it's keep that fucking going until whatever. But I think I talked about one of my live streams before. I went to Vegas a few years ago, and the hotel room I had a bidet in there. And I couldn't figure it out. I sat on that thing off and on for a couple days, and I would sit on there 30, 40, 45 minutes. All the settings, the slow, the fast, the warm, the cold, and I would just sit there, and I couldn't figure out if I liked it or not. Like, honestly, it was like, it's one of those feelings where it's like you're a little bit uncomfortable, but at the same time, it's like a little bit pleasurable as well. So I'm telling you, there was one day, I probably sat there an hour and a half just trying to figure out, like, do I like this or not? And then I still don't know. I need to get one and still try to figure it out.
Have you tried sitting AC Slater style? That'll change your world. AC Slater bidet will change your world. I will say
this. That was one that was it was like a decent one or whatever. It's also got the drying thing too. I turned the dryer thing on and it's just warm air. Smells not great. That is just
Well, it's
more
blowing your own asshole air
your
in your
asshole
face.
and your taint and everything, and then it just like I turned that on. And I was like, let me turn that off. Like that's fine. I'll wipe it dry. Thank you.
Yeah, listen, I am somebody who uses a blow dryer. I use a blow dryer on my body. I get out of the shower, I dry with a towel, then I use a blow dryer to make sure it's all dry. I have never blown asshole air into my face.
And by the way, I know you kind of skipped over that. Angelo stands in his fucking bathroom, head between like this, blow drying his taint and nut sacks every time he gets out of the shower. He's bent over.
I'm not even going to defend it because he's not wrong. I will dry every inch of my body. Bone dry.
Instead of just taking a towel and being like, woo, done.
Dude, there's
How
not
much
a towel.
hair can you have?
There's not a towel big enough. There's not a towel big enough. Whatever towels they use to dry off RVs, not big enough. I'm working with some stuff. We got a $5 super chat from Matt. Matt says, Ange, are you headed to International Fight Week this year? Word is Jacob is buying a few poolside cabanas with all that money from the lock of the week winnings. I will be at International Fight Week. I will be with my shirt on at the poolside if there is a cabana. Jakey boy, we're going back, I'm assuming, right? The boys getting back
I
at
want
it?
to see what the honestly what the card is first. I did book a room just to get out ahead of it, because at this point, the way I go to Vegas and bet and stuff like that, I get comp rooms and stuff, and so they sent me some offers, so I have a room booked just in case that I can cancel. But I kind of want to see. I want to wait to see what the card is, honestly.
I mean, if we're talking about International Fight Week, it's got to be either John and Tom,
It sounds like John is fucking around at this point.
Then fucking strip the title and move on. Like, we don't give a fuck. And Josh Thompson and I had a bad take. We talked about some of that.
Josh, what a guy.
It's funny because I didn't publish the bad take yet, but he was like, does Jacob not like me? He was like, I watched part of your stream last week, and I said, I think he's a little jealous. I think you guys are both just fighting over me.
The shoe fits.
But we both were like, listen, at this point in time, if you strip John Jones of the belt, I don't think anybody's pissed. Who's pissed? Who is like, no,
What they say,
John Jones is the rightful champ. Like,
Tom's been the interim champ for like 2.5 years or something.
Yeah, literally. He defended the interim title, which is an insane thing to happen. So at this point, if it's not John and Tom at International Fight Week, then it's got to be right there or pull it. Or it's Islam and Ilya, which is a phenomenal
That
fight.
sounds like that's not happening either, because now Charles is trying to get that fight with Ilya, and fucking, it's like, I don't know
If International
I
Fight,
think they're gonna fuck it up. I think it's gonna be something bullshit.
dumb. No, it's gonna be.
I think it's gonna be
Ankh
Ankalaev and
yes.
Alex again.
And
I
honestly,
I don't want to see it. If
You and I
Ankh and
couldn't be
Alex is
more
the main
aligned.
event, I don't want to fucking go.
you and I couldn't be more aligned there. I'm gonna go no matter what. But I could give a fuck, dude. Alex Pereira's gonna lose worse than he did last time.
Now,
and I thought
you hear DC was like, "Oh, he was sick and he had a broken
it's all
hand or
bullshit.
something." It's like, come on, guys.
Dude.
He's not who you think he is. He had a good run and beating up fucking terrible people, but he got in front of an actual striker and he got fucking fucked up.
My issue with that, I'll disagree with some of that sentiment. My issue with that is Alex Pereira could have beaten Ankalaev. He could have beaten him. He was set up. That was the worst version of Ankalaev he could have gotten, and he still didn't capitalize because he just didn't let his hands go. $1.99 from Santiago Mendez. Stream for Jacob. What's it going to take? I guess it's going to take Lock of the Week losing. We appreciate the $2, so we hope he never streams again. Mr. Pity Pat, LMAO, Jacob's so funny just being himself. That's not money. I pin that because I agree. I hang out with Jacob in real life, and he's fucking annoying, but he's
Nobody
funny.
makes anybody laugh more than I make everyone laugh.
Yeah, well,
And nobody makes me laugh more than me. And that's literally 100% true. I literally sit there and giggle to myself about stuff that I think about more than anybody's ever made me laugh in my life.
I get that. I do that. You make me laugh a lot, so I'm not going to claim that I make myself laugh more, but there are plenty of times that I'm with different people and I will have an unbelievable fucking joke in my head. And I'm like, if I say this out loud, they're not going to fucking get it or care, or they'll be offended. So I'm going to keep it to myself. So what is this one? Angelo better do every post-fight stream drunk. That was just an individual circumstance. I actually don't drink on Saturdays specifically so I can do the post-fight streams not drunk. But given the circumstances last week, fuck that shit, dude. That card fucking sucks shit. I was supposed to go to a friend's house. I was delayed by an hour because those suck shit fights. So I was like, I'm drinking. I don't give a fuck. Is that why you were shaking your head?
Yeah, I don't drink on Saturdays. This is one of the most retarded things you've ever said in your life.
I really don't. I have text messages from people being like, I
I
thought
don't
you
even know
didn't
how
drink
you
on
say
Saturday.
stuff like that because I know that you honestly kind of believe it when you say it.
Did you watch me drink when you were at my house for UFC 311? Or 12 or 13
Yeah,
or
you got
whatever?
a
No,
couple
I
high noons.
fucking didn't. No, I didn't.
Okay. Well,
If I had one, it was to be social.
God,
And
here
if you guys want $50, we'll send you 50. I'm going to whip through these because this shit is long. Go to WeWantPicks.com/bets. Use any of the affiliate links to sign up with any of our partners. Make a deposit. We'll send you $50 as a thank you to affiliate marketing. You're going to sign up. They're going to pay us to slave off some of that money, give it
go
to you.
watch the Lock of the Week video right now and come back.
And if you go to WeWantPicks.com, you can become a premium member, unlock everything you could ever want or need, including the brand new DraftKings optimizer we built from scratch with the brand new beginner mode. If you've never used an optimizer,
Oh my God!
now's your time.
Look.
What? It broke? It fell? What am I looking at? Oh, that's Michel Pereira's face after you fucking... Oh, dude, he's looking right at you.
Oh God!
Dude, he's looking... Pull that back. He is looking right the fuck at you, dude.
Oh God!
That's not... Dude, look that man in the face and know what you did. That is not good.
Oh, sorry, Michel.
You're also going to unlock the fight simulator at We Want Picks.
Michel.
The funniest part is, like, he kind of did that shit to himself. You brought your side piece to a fight and put her cage side and were shocked people noticed. That's fucking nuts. WeWantPicks.com. You will unlock the fight simulator. This takes every fight on every fight card, and it simulates those fights 100,000 times using historical data, and you can use those outputs for anything you want. If you unlock premium membership, it's only $10 a month, and that entire month will include UFC Mexico, UFC Vegas 105, and UFC 314. Which, as of this minute, probably the best pay-per-view of the year. And every single thing we do is available inside of an app. Just go to the App Store, search We Want Picks. You will unlock all of that shit. And even if you're not a premium member, download the app and keep notifications on because we use notifications for more than just premium stuff. A few weeks ago at UFC 313, there was a couple of drop fights right before the card, and we pushed that notification letting everybody know. We did move some content. If you are one of the wildly inept people commenting, where's the Prize Picks video? We have moved it to our second channel, Picks Nation. Just search Picks Nation or We Want Picks, Picks Nation. You'll find it.
Yo, Jericho just said, Jacob, that's so funny. I just joined this minute to tell you you're on Brazilian news here in Sao Paulo. I literally just joined to talk about it.
This motherfucker needs to screen grab all of that shit. Hey, Jericho, screen record it and send it to your boys. That's wild. We need to see it. Let's see it. That would be incredible. Somebody sent us a screenshot, or they took a picture. They were in like a Mexican restaurant somewhere, and on the TV was our stream. So whoever was in charge of putting what's on the TV was us breaking down a card. So if Jacob made his way to Brazilian news, that's a life accomplishment right there. If you do want to send something for us to open on the vlog, I've got a whole bunch of mail sitting right to my left that I will open, I will read, and one of them definitely has some wild fucking shit in it. On the vlogs, we film a vlog for every single pay-per-view. Just send it to We Want Picks, P.O. Box 406, Prosper, Texas 75078. And finally, Hayabusa, big supporter of the show. If you watch Jacob's rap video, you'll see that they, at the end of any meaningful video, they do, it's not clothed by, what do they call it? Attire by? What is it called? Fashioned by?
I wouldn't listen. I was reading the chat. What'd you say?
At the end of like movies and videos, they say like clothing provided by or dressed by. What do they call that? Attire by? Jacob's wearing a Hayabusa gi in that rap video he filmed. And Hayabusa just released
Two
a
different
brand
I wore
new.
my blue one and my
That
red
is
one.
right. You alternated. Hayabusa just released brand new gloves, like revolutionary. The reality is, if you're watching this and you can beat
We
the
still got
combat
5
sports,
more fights to go through?
6. Hayabusa has high-end shit. Check them out. WeWantPicks.com/Hayabusa. You get 10% off. If you don't want to use the promo link, then that's fine. I don't give a fuck. Use the regular link. Great shit. They support us. We're going to support them. And I've been using Hayabusa gear for absolute years.
Thank God I already ate dinner.
Opening up. I do have to pee so bad.
Then go.
As soon as I do my part, I'm going to hand it over to you. I'm going to piss. Opening up the UFC Mexico main card, we have Ronaldo Rodriguez taking on Kevin Borjas. Ronaldo Rodriguez, 5-0 in his last 5, 7-fight win streak, 17-2 overall, taking on Kevin Borjas, 19-3 in his career, 3-2 in his last 5. He is, unfortunately, looking for his first UFC win. Ronaldo Rodriguez, patient striker. He's got some real power. He likes to plot forward. He'll find his spots. He'll lay it all out there. He will look for finishes. He has no problem eating leg kicks. He has no problem countering with big hooks. He is dialed in. He is laser focused on the feet. He's got a good enough chin, but he can be hittable because his hands aren't here where they should be, wearing those Hayabusa gloves. His hands are here at his shoulders, so he gets dotted up and then fires away and just relies on that durability. He is coming off that win over Ode Osborne, where we saw that he wasn't very skilled at all, but he is insanely tough, like ridiculously tough. He's taking on Kevin Borjas, not a Russian. Sounds like a Russian, not a Russian. He's a clean striker. He works in combinations well. He'll use everything from straight.
What's his nickname?
Kevin Borjas or Lazy Boy? I know Lazy Boy. I don't know Kevin Borjas' nickname. What's his nickname?
Oh, you want to look it up and read it?
What is it?
I don't know. Look it up. I can't remember what it was.
Well, all right. I'm going to read this. I'm going to piss. I'll look it up while I'm pissing. Anyway, Kevin Borjas, nickname to be determined. He can grapple as well if he needs to. And more often than not, he'll actually let people stand up, though, if you end up on the ground, because he trusts his striking that much. For the most part, he is a striker, good combinations, mid-level takedown defense. He is coming off that finish loss to Alessandro Costa, where he had his legs kicked out. Right now, this minute, Rolando is the favorite, and it's continuing to widen.
It's not.
And more, what?
Well, it's not.
He's minus 162. He was minus 130 when I filmed this on Sunday. So it's widening.
It went down to minus 140 today, but
okay, it's tightening.
Back to minus 158.
Okay, it's bouncing around. It's bouncing around. The reality is a lot of people are looking at what Ronaldo did in his last fight, and they're saying, you know what, he should win this fight too. It's Mexico. He's tough. He made something happen. The reality is, I don't think Rolando's very good. He's just durable as shit. And you know what? At elevation, being insanely durable might matter, but I am going to go ahead and pick Kevin Borjas here. Kevin Borjas is also durable. I think Kevin Borjas can get his hands going. And I think Kevin Borjas can win this fight. And as long as Ronaldo doesn't win a bad decision, as he did in his last fight at Noche, I think Kevin Borjas can win this fight. So Kevin's going to be my pick. Probably going to do a plus 3.5 bet. I haven't fully checked out those odds yet, but maybe something along those lines because I don't trust the judges. Listen, the English judges screwed the English people. They didn't give a fuck where you were from. The Mexican judges, Mexicans got a little more loyalty than a lot of other people, so they may stick with their people, and Ronaldo may win a decision here. I'm going to take a piss. Jakey boy, what do you think?
Listen, Angelo just kind of sat there and disparaged Mexicans. Mexican culture. I think he just called you guys cheaters. I think he called you guys pussies. I think he really turned his nose on the entire Mexican heritage and everything that's involved. Not me, right? I love Mexico. Tengo el gato, los pantalones, right? Me gusta el pollo, right? Me gusta los zapatos, ¿sí? Me gusta los hamburguesas, ¿sí? Me gusta los plátanos, ¿sí? Me gusta el perro, ¿sí? Me gusta el gato, ¿sí? Me gusta. Listen, I like Ronaldo Rodriguez in this fight. Kevin Borjas, he's definitely a good boxer, right? There's no doubt about his striking credentials. But when I say striking, it really is limited to the boxing. If this is a tit-for-tat, stand in the middle, just all hands type of fight, Kevin Borjas probably is going to win this fight. And maybe in some made-up fucking fairy tale land that Angelo seems to live in at times, that's what's going to happen, right? Angelo just thinks that these guys are going to stand in front of each other and just box for 15 minutes, and he believes that Kevin Borjas is going to win that type of fight. But this is a mixed martial arts fight. Look at this fat fuck. And Kevin Borjas is not really a mixed martial artist. If the boxing does not work, things go south very, very quickly. You saw, even in that Costa fight, he ate 3 leg kicks, boom, his legs compromised. The guy can't even switch stance. There was no backup plan for Kevin Borjas. Ronaldo, you saw, got dropped. He's got a backup plan. He can go to the grappling, and he seems like a guy that only a blue belt, I don't know if he's been promoted at this point, but at the Noche fight, only a blue belt, he seems like a guy that really enjoys the grappling aspects, really enjoys all those scrambles and getting in and out of the positions. And for a guy like Kevin Borjas to fight a guy who can be tough, who can strike, who can throw the kicks, the leg kicks, and mix in the wrestling at 8,000 feet, it just seems like a bad situation. So I think people are pausing a little bit on Ronaldo because he did kind of get flatlined by Ode. But Ode is a sit-down, straight punch, boom guy. Kevin Borjas is more of a volume-type striker. You do have to worry about the flying knees that he likes to throw, but Kevin Borjas is just a little bit too limited as a mixed martial artist to me. Orlando, I think that he gets it done. I think he gets it done on the ground and finds a submission win as well. So second-round submission, Ronaldo, and you can thank me later.
What the fuck did you say about me when I was gone that everybody's commenting on it?
I was speaking Spanish. What are you talking about?
I'm getting a lot of fucking comments. I took a nice
laughing because I was speaking Spanish.
All right, I guess. Wow, that was the first time I've seen Jacob compliment Angelo. You said something nice about me. Where's the weigh-in picture? What the fuck did you say?
I didn't say it. Dude, why are you so vain about everything? Not everything's always about you. I broke down the fight. I literally speak in Spanish and broke down the fight. We're just reciting
music lyrics now? You're so vain.
Angelo, like, what'd you say about you? Nobody gives a fuck about you, Angelo. I was speaking Spanish. I broke down the fucking fights. Nobody gives a fuck about you.
Okay. All right. We'll watch it back. We'll see how that goes. I'm obsessed with these fucking veiny. Okay. Anyway, you picked Ronaldo Rodriguez?
Yeah. Yeah, because I'm not fucking racist.
Racist against who?
Yeah,
Borjas isn't exactly white.
I mean, we did talk about your little anti-Mexican stance.
The fuck are you talking about?
Guys, right?
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
We talked about it.
You just throw out wild accusations and just see what happens. Yeah, that's a fun life to live. Holy shit. Anyway, Jakey Boy and I are split here. We're split on 5 fights on this card. But if you want a tiebreaker.
No bueno. I agree.
If you want a type, I'm going to have to call Francis to come over here and defend me.
Francis.
I support the Latino. He's not
Francis.
Mexican. He's Ecuadorian. He's not
there
Mexican.
You go with the racism again.
Why is it racist? He's my buddy. He's been in the vlogs. He hangs
not
out.
Mexican. You were like, he'll get my back.
Because if you... Okay. Yeah.
I've got a black friend.
I'll never pull that card because that does not end well. Listen, but I do. Torrance is one of my best friends growing up. He was in my wedding. There's pictures to prove it.
When was the last time you talked to him?
I talk to Torrance like every other week.
Call him right now.
He lives in fucking... Okay.
FaceTime him.
Okay.
FaceTime him. Let's see what's going on here.
This is dicey.
Let's see.
I'm going to straight up tell him this is because people don't think I have a black friend.
No, you can't text him ahead of time. Let's just FaceTime him.
I'm not. I'm pulling up fucking FaceTime. Hold on. I've never FaceTimed straight up. I have to search his name.
No, you never called him?
No, I've never started a FaceTime from
Why is your
FaceTime.
camera getting more white as you talk about not being racist? Yeah, whoa.
Hold on.
Yeah, hold on. Why is my phone ringing?
There we go.
You're calling me right now.
Hold on. You won't be able to hear what he says. This is dicey. Come on, Torrance. Oh, that has his last name. Come on. It's not looking good for me. This is not great. Oh, hey, how you doing, bud? Oh, I know we talk all the time, and yeah. He didn't answer. Okay. Well, either way. I have friends, I promise. Anyway, Jacob and I are split on this fight. And if you want a tiebreaker, check out the artificial intelligence. We do have an artificial intelligence that is not only picking fights based off historical data, it is doing so at remarkable accuracy. If you want a human to break the tie, we got Bet Sam giving you his picks and bets. We also have Artem. Artem, while he picks UFC at a decent accuracy, he picks non-UFC fight cards at a remarkable accuracy. He just picked a perfect Cage Warriors card just a few weeks ago. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member. You can unlock everything you could ever want or need heading into a fight week. Picks, bets, tools, everything else ready to go. You and I are split on 5 fights. This is one of them. I'm curious to see how this turns out.
The only one that you have a dog in.
You're not going to pretend. Nah, that shit doesn't work anymore.
Literally, that's the only one that we have different than you.
No. I'm going to pretend that I'm not talking. Are my headphones fucked up? Oh my God, are my headphones fucked up? Did I just say you're not going to get me and then you fucking got me? Yep. Hold on. Dude, you making me do that fucking FaceTime bullshit fucked up my headphones. Please hold. You do the next breakdown. You start it off. God damn it, dude.
Okay, up next, ladies and gentlemen, we've got David Martinez, a Mexican, unfortunately for Angelo, versus Simon Oliveira, the beautiful Brazilian, over on the right side. And there is some history with me, actually kind of with both of these fighters. With Simon Oliveira, he was an underdog. We were just talking about the Peruvian in the last fight. He fought a Peruvian. He was a favorite over Daniel Marcos, who was my lock of the week. Surprise, surprise. Daniel Marcos beat Simon Oliveira. David Martinez is the brother of Melissa Martinez, who was fighting at the Apex, I think at the card, the Michel Pereira card. So this is kind of a full circle situation here. And I talked to her parents, who is actually, surprisingly, David's parents as well. Great people. Melissa won that fight, and both of them fight kind of the same style. They are both...
So what the fuck are you talking about? Just break down this fight.
I'm breaking down this fight, you dumb bitch. They're both, I think, black belts in Taekwondo and karate. Both their parents were black belts, so they're in a martial arts family. They grew up, and they show that in their striking. Their kicks are very strong. Everything they do is very sharp, especially with the kicks. And they fight with a ferocity that you will see when David Martinez enters his octagon. Everything he throws has a fucking mean look on his face, and he throws everything heavy, especially the kicks, the leg kicks. He is not an Alex Pereira just snap a fucking leg kick. He is a step like a jab and just wing the back foot. And he does it fast. He does it strong. He does it hard. He does it girthy. And he does it all fucking night with those fucking kicks. And he will bring them low. Then he starts bringing them high. And he does it very, very well. Against Simon Oliveira, who's a guy that really wants to get to the wrestling. He wants to get to the grappling. And if he can, he's going to have success there. But David Martinez has shown in his Contender Series fight that he knows how to defend the takedowns. He knows that they're coming. I wish he was a little bit more active with his hands. He seems to rely a little bit too much on the kicks, and everything's kind of just one shot at a time. One heavy shot, and if you do blitz him, he's pretty good with, because of these karate people, they're really good with the footwork. He's really good at cutting an angle off and throwing that the counter kind of right hand or left hand, whatever it is. The issue is you can tell he hasn't really drilled that a ton because the timing's there with the footwork, but he's not real accurate, and he kind of sits on it a little bit too much. It seems at times that he needs to kind of just fucking relax in there. I do worry a little bit that his over-aggression, a Mexican in Mexico City, a big fight for him against a guy that he probably should beat, and he is going to be my pick. If he gets too aggressive early and gets taken down, Simon Oliveira is a pretty live guy, and David Martinez, as good as he is on the feet and as defensive wrestling. It's still going to be a little bit green in the pure grappling aspect, but I loved Melissa Martinez because of her aggression and the way that she can throw kicks and strikes. I think the same thing happens here. David Martinez is able to withstand kind of the nonsensical takedowns at Simon Oliveira. I sent some clips to Angelo when I was breaking down films of Simon Oliveira just kind of leaning over, just trying to get takedowns from across. Looked like fucking Jordan fucking douche magoosh that just fucking lost the safety parlay and lost me my biggest bet.
Vucenic, that fucking asshole
like
from a mile away.
She's shooting like those type of fucking takedowns that David should be able to see coming. So unless David gets too overzealous and blows his load and something weird happens, but Simon's not really a durable guy anyway. So I like David here. I think he could be a real prospect. You can see the way that you can see him in that picture right there. The dude's got a fucking mean streak in him. And if he starts figuring out his hands to go with the kicks, he could be a fucking problem. So I like David Martinez here, and I don't think he's going to have too many issues. And I think the line here, honestly, 2.5, under 2.5, I think is about plus 105, something like that. I think there's still some value there because I think he could find a finish.
I don't disagree with anything you've said. David Martinez should absolutely win this fight for two reasons. One, I think David Martinez is a good fighter. He's a mobile striker. He moves a lot like Dominic Cruz, right? He's constantly moving, constantly trying to make things happen. He has decent power. He picks his shots pretty well. He'll set things up. He can be low volume because he's picking his shots well, but he's so mobile, it doesn't even look like he's low volume. So the judges aren't going to be like, this guy's not doing anything. But mostly not because of how good David is. I'm picking David because of how bad Simon Oliveira is. Yeah, he's got slick BJJ. We've known that from years ago. But the reality is he's just a long, lean, flexible guy that if he doesn't get to play the jiu-jitsu game, he's going to get smoked. In his last fight, he was a favorite. Jacob mentioned you bet against him as lock of the week, right?
Yeah, another win. Yeah.
Yeah, there it is. Another win.
Fucking surprise.
My notes, I take anytime I'm able to watch fights like in front of my computer and take notes, I take notes so that when I'm doing this again, I have not only like tape study notes, because when you do tape study, it matters, it's important, but you're watching those fights knowing the outcomes, which is a very different feeling than when you're watching the fights not knowing the outcomes, knowing who's the favorite and having your own expectations. So when I take my own notes, I went into that last fight with Simon Oliveira knowing he was the favorite, having my own expectations of that fight, and then watching him have the worst takedowns I've ever seen in my entire life, watching him throw one punch at a time, watching him just absolutely suck in that fight, wondering how the hell was this guy the favorite. I took those notes live. So I had that energy. And then when I came back, because he hasn't fought in 2 freaking years, when I came back and did the tape study, I watched the fight knowing the outcome. Then I read the notes and I'm like, that's right. Fuck this guy. David Martinez is the pick. Jacob and I are both pretty square on this.
That first calf kick is going to have you guys being like, ooh.
David Martinez would be in the safety parlay if I wasn't afraid to safety parlay UFC newcomers based off of the other circumstances of 2025. But he should win this fight.
I think it's a pretty good candidate. You got a old guy coming in Mexico City who already, I think it was that Marquez fight. I mean, it was like 2 minutes into that fight, he was like, ugh. Like, it just seemed like he was fucking over it already.
It was crazy.
It's like, Jesus Christ, and David's not a fucking pussy, I'll tell you that.
At all. No, listen, I'm very, very confident in David Martinez. He's one of, if not my most confident pick on this card. I do have a parlay with him. If you want to unlock the parlay that I currently have, just go to WeWantPicks.com, click Become a Member. It's freaking $10. That $10 will get you everybody's picks and bets. That $10 will get you every tool
free
that we
win
offer.
here. I didn't even play that. I played the under 2.5. I think he's going to finish home and get better value. So,
what are the odds? We will wait in silence.
I got it plus 105. It's minus 115 right now.
There you go.
So I essentially got David Martinez at plus 105. I do things like that are a little bit different.
I do things like that. And if you do want to
laugh at me is interesting.
And if you want to check out other things Jacob has done, check out Cops. Cops is a television show. Check out To Catch a Predator. What was that?
What do you think the most Mexican thing in your house is?
My fucking part Mexican wife.
What?
How about that? Tiff's got some Mexican in her. She's she's part Native American, part Mexican, and part Irish.
How often does she have Mexican in her? That's a thing. That's your.
My mother speaks fluent Spanish. Does that count? She'll be in my house this weekend.
Can we be done yet? What are we doing?
You're the one fucking dragging this on.
Yeah, me. Yeah, okay.
Next up, you had to tell that whole homewrecker story to start this whole thing off. Next up, at UFC Mexico, we have Raul Rosas Jr., and he is taking on Vince Morales. Raul Rosas Jr., 10-1 in his career, 4-1 in his last 5. Taking on Vince Morales, 16-9 in his career, 3-2 in his last 5. He is looking for his first UFC win since 2021. As we all know, Shiwiwi has a very straightforward fight style. He's insanely young. He started his career before he was 18 years old. His parents literally had to sign a permission slip for him to fight in the UFC. Since then, he's grown up a little bit. He's now 20. He comes forward, he'll strike for a little bit, and then he will wrestle. At one point in time, we thought he was an amazing wrestler, an amazing jiu-jitsu practitioner. Our expectations have been leveled a little bit. C-Rod beat him when he gassed big time after a pretty dominant first round, but didn't make it happen after that. In his last fight, we saw, okay, the striking might be there, but he is willing to get some takedowns and just be boring as hell. Ultimately, Raul Rosas Jr. is a good fighter who is improving at a rapid pace. He's 20 years old. He is not a wild 1% athlete that is unbelievable at a wildly young age. But what he is a kid who works his ass off. He's been training for a very, very long time. He's got decent hands, good wrestling, hopefully an improved cardio, which it seems to be the case. He's taking on Vince Morales. Vince Morales is a little older. He's on the other side of that spectrum, sort of at the tail end of his career. He's an absolute dog. Decent striker, okay boxing. He makes up for any technical gaps in the striking with just forward pressure and grit. He does have some power in his hands. He'll let it go, and then he will fizzle as the fight goes on. He's coming off a loss to another young wrestling prospect in Elijah Smith, where he had some good early forward pressure. He had some really razor-thin close submissions, but ultimately he ended up losing that decision. And on a card with some pretty wide odds, I think these are actually decent. Raul at almost a 4-1 favorite. It is continuing to widen. It might get unreasonable. But since seeing Raul be willing to be boring, the fact that he's okay with getting some takedowns and just chilling, some control time, that's all we need. The reason Vince had some success against Elijah is because Elijah was trying to take his head off with the strikes and then was shooting crazy takedowns and sort of just making it a wild, fast-paced fight. But if Raul gets a takedown, has that control, chills there, he can have a ton of success. I am going to pick Raul Rosas Jr. to get the win here, but I don't want him to come out crazy because Vince will match that energy, ride it out, and then come back a little harder. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Yeah, I was high on Vince Morales in that last fight. I told you guys, I had the second round submission bets. I was like, you guys don't understand. This guy's a dog. He's a grappler. He will throw some wild shit up as far as submission goes, and he nearly had that. I mean, the guy loves the fucking Peruvian necktie. He wants to be that flashy guy. You see on his Instagram and stuff. He's looking for bonuses at this point. He knows he's not going to be a guy that's going to be competing for a title, so he's back in the UFC and he wants to hunt those finishes. Raul Rosas, you wanted to be boring or whatever. I promise you, he's not going to be fucking boring in Mexico City in front of these fans. And I don't even think they need to shoot a takedown. In this fight, I wouldn't shoot a takedown. I would just strike with Vince Morales. Vince Morales isn't a dangerous guy on the feet. He does get hit. He can't get out. He can tough some shit out. But people don't know about Raul Rosas started as a striker. He started his career as a striker, as an amateur. The reason he started wrestling was because he started getting mauled in the wrestling. And then he was like, oh, well, it's a lot easier just to wrestle people. So he turned into this wrestler grappler. Now that he's getting further into his career, he's realizing, oh, I can't just take somebody down every single time and just submit him all the time. So he takes his time more, but he's starting to come back into his own in the striking. And you see he's getting more and more and more comfortable. And what he really does with his striking is he is fucking really fast in and out. He's getting even sharper with the hooks instead of wide. Everything is really getting nice and tight. And honestly, I think he comes in, takes his time in the striking, and finds a KO shot. So I placed a little flyer here, plus 700 on a KO TKO bet for Raul Rosas. I know Vince is is tough, but this young kid throws hard. He throws heavy, and I think in Mexico City, this is a good matchup for him to fight a hittable Vince Morales. I wouldn't fuck around with the wrestling because Vince is going to be able to survive down there and could put you yourself in some danger. Obviously, Raul against C-Rod has shown some good submission defense, but I wouldn't even put myself there. Just take your time in the striking, wait for that big shot, and if he knocks him or hits him or cracks him and Vince tries to take that shot, I think Raul says forgoes kind of the grappling and just kind of stays on him with the TKO type stuff and tries to finish that way. So I'm on Raul, and I played the flyer plus 700 on a KO, TKO, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Raul is a prospect. He's improving incredibly quickly, which makes it hard to fully solidify a breakdown there. If you already think he's going to win, then just expect that he's improving, and he definitely should win. If you're on the fence about him,
hands.
And we saw the power, right? He does have a one-punch knockout. It's not as if he has no power whatsoever and he's desperately diving at legs. He's willing to do all the things. That one loss was he was gassed as shit. He had a great first round, tried to finish. He was, 18 years old, gassed out against a durable, composed C-Rod. And that's when C-Rod started to build his name for himself as the prospect killer. Raul should win this fight. Jakey Boy and I are on the same side. $9,200 in DraftKings Fantasy might seem high, but Raul has proven to either A, be able to finish fights, or B, be able to control some fights, get some takedowns, score some points, make some stuff happen. If you're on my side and you think he's boring and gets the takedowns and the control, then $9,200 makes some sense. If you're on Jacob's side and you think he comes out here and gets a finish, then $9,200 also makes some sense. If you do want to check out all the picks, the bets, the tools, and everything else that we offer, it's freaking $10 an entire month. WeWantPicks.com. Click. Become a member at the top. You'll have everything that you could ever want or need clean through UFC 314. We do have a super chat. $2 from Rodriguez. He says, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up.
Shut the fuck up.
Shut the fuck up.
That's what Ronaldo was saying to Ode at the press conference. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up.
$2 from Rodriguez. Thank you so much. What's his name's nickname? What's Borjas' nickname? I didn't look it up while I pissed.
Okay. I told you to look it up.
Next up at UFC Mexico, we have the featured fight of the evening. We have Kelvin Gastelum taking on Joe Pyfer. I'm going to keep this nice and simple. Kelvin Gastelum, 19-9 in his career, 2-3 in his last 5. He's coming off that decision win over Daniel Rodriguez, taking on Joe Pyfer, 13-3 in his career, 4-1 in his last 5. He's coming off that knockout win over Marc-Andre Barrot. And the reason this is an interesting fight is because obviously Joe Pyfer is a good time 3-1 favorite here. And I get it. We just watched Joe Pyfer one-punch knock out Marc-Andre Barrot. We know Joe Pyfer can wrestle. We've seen him use that offensive wrestling before. We know he's teammates and best friends with Sean Brady. So let's assume he's got very good BJJ as well. So we have a Joe Pyfer who's got good hands, powerful one-punch knockouts. We know he's a guy who broke his arm and just continued to fight and not a quitter. We know he's a guy that can wrestle. He can grapple. He can do all those things. The problem is this is at elevation. And if Joe comes in here expecting to one-punch knockout the fire hydrant head that is Kelvin Gastelum, he's going to be in for it because Kelvin Gastelum, as we all know by now, has been on the UFC roster for about 12 years at this point, if not longer. He has a head built out of a fire hydrant. You cannot knock him out. Baseball bat, 2x4, it doesn't matter. It literally doesn't matter. But he is a Division I wrestler who, if he decides to wrestle, can have some success. We saw some of that wrestling in his last fight. He's a guy that has some power in his hands. If he wants to come forward and bomb away, he could have success there too. He's a guy that's insanely durable, that can be in a dogfight. He doesn't have any quit in him whatsoever. He did get manhandled by Sean Brady a little while ago at 170, but that's a sucked out Kelvin Gastelum, and now we know how good Sean Brady is. A 185 dad bod Kelvin Gastelum, who's just going to stand there, not live up to the expectations, not do what he's supposed to do, but kind of slug it out and be durable, could have upset potential. I'm going to pick Joe Pyfer here because by all scientific purposes, Joe Pyfer should win. Good striker, good grappler, hits hard, young, fast. He should win. He should win. If Joe Pyfer loses here, then he should retire from the UFC and head over to the PFL because clearly he was not prepared. If Joe thinks he's going to one-punch knock out Kelvin Gastelum, he is very confused. But if he is prepared for a full 15 minutes, I'll get after it. I'm in phenomenal shape. I'll light him up. I can do all the things. Then he will win. He should win. And most of that is based off the fact that Kelvin does not fight to his full potential. Same breakdown most people had for Kevin Holland. Same breakdown most people have for Lupe Godinez. Joe Pyfer is going to be the pick, but Kelvin could absolutely win this fight. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Yeah, I'm picking Kelvin just for the simple reason I don't really like Joe Pyfer. So I'm picking Kelvin. I think he wins.
Didn't Joe Pyfer shit on you in his Instagram story or something like that?
He tried to act like he was the man all the time before his fights, and he lost one time, and he was like, "Oh, there's so many haters."
He did get the Turkish touch-up. Do you think that helps with the confidence and then therefore helps in the fight itself?
I don't really give a fuck about Joe Pyfer. I'm rooting for Kelvin.
I think we're all rooting for Kelvin. I'm with you there. I will be rooting for Kelvin as well. And mine isn't quite a slight on the Joe side. I just really like Kelvin Gastelum. I've been watching the sport for a long time. Dude's been in some all-time wars, laid it out for us as fans. I'm a big Kelvin Gastelum fan. Any more words on this fight, Jacob?
Nope.
Okay, $6,900 in DraftKings Fantasy for Kelvin Gastelum. Listen, if you think he can pull it off, then that makes a lot of sense. I do not think Joe's going to be worth the $9,300 because I don't think he's going to finish Kelvin. The only way I think he can really score some points and finish this fight and make something happen is if he goes against his normal fight style. If he is listening to his teammate Sean Brady, who is like, dude, don't just take his ass down. Then maybe. But Joe knows he has big one-punch knockout power, might chase that. I don't necessarily know he's going to get that done. If you do want to check out all the picks, the bets, the tools, what the artificial intelligence has to say about this fight, go to WeWantPicks.com. It's freaking $10. Unlock everything you'd ever want or need heading into this fight weekend, as well as an entire month's worth. You're going to get all the way out to UFC 314. Next up, at UFC Mexico, we have the co-main event of the evening. We have very long, very tall, very lean Manuel Torres taking on the always durable and exciting Drew Dober. Manuel Torres, 15-3 in his career, 4-1 in his last 5. He is coming off that finish loss to Ignacio Bahamondes, taking on Drew Dober, 27-14 in his career, 2-3 in his last 5. He is riding back-to-back losses. And this is an interesting fight to break down because Manuel Torres is a guy who has a lot of potential. He's well-rounded. He can be dangerous. He's very long. He's very lean. And if he's the one controlling the length, controlling the distance, he can have a ton of success. We've seen that. He uses that length really well. He'll snatch up triangles, arm bars, darces, any of those long limb style chokes. In the clinch, same thing. He'll get his hips all the way back and then fire knees right up the middle. He is coming off that loss, though, to Ignacio Bahamondes, where he just quite literally could not be longer, could not be taller, and struggled with that reach when he was at a disadvantage. He's taking on Drew Dober. Drew Dober, as we all know, is a take one to give one style striker. Drew Dober's a guy that will hang out in the pocket and absolutely bomb away. He can be a technical striker, but he chooses not to. He just wants to slug it out and have some fun. Drew Dober is a guy that will trick you into thinking you're having success because you will land, you will connect, but he's usually durable enough that it doesn't matter. And then you're not shooting takedowns even when you should because he's in the pocket and he's hanging out and you're connecting. He is coming off that loss to Jean Silva where the doctor stopped it, but not because he knocked out Drew Dober, but because the cut was so bad the doctor said this cannot continue. Drew Dober is unfortunately, though, at a point in his career where the UFC is going to use him to build the next generation. They're going to put him out there to get beat up. They're going to put him out there knowing he's going to be fun, knowing he's going to be exciting. They're going to put him out there knowing he's going to get tagged up, dotted up, and beat up. I'm going to pick Manuel Torres here because I think he can win this fight. I think technically speaking, he might be the better fighter. He's long. He has more ways to win. Drew Dober is obviously Drew Dober. He's insanely tough. He's willing to fight his ass off. He can break other people. Manuel Torres is a guy that seems to be kill or be killed. And if I'm relying on him to kill or be killed, shit, man, Drew Dober might be the guy. But I am going to pick Manuel here, but I totally understand the love coming in on the Dober side. Jakey boy, what do you think?
Yeah, I think people are going to get smoked with Drew Dober. There's definitely two public dogs on the card. It's going to be Costa and Drew Dober. That's what I keep hearing over and over and over. Listen, I've picked against Drew Dober twice with Lock of the Week. I picked Matt Frivola against Drew Dober as my Lock of the Week. He fucking knocked him out. I had John Silva as my underdog Lock of the Week versus Drew Dober. He fucking got a TKO, Dr. Stoppage. You can call whatever it was, but he's beating the fuck out of that guy. Manuel Torres in his last fight. I know he got knocked out against Ignacio Bahamondes, but he landed a nice shot that really had Bahamondes on skates. And if he lands those same type of shots that he seems to land on everybody, it's probably going to look not very good for a guy like Drew Dober. So honestly, I think that this could look like the Nicholas Mata fight. You know, I like Nicholas Mata. He's a former Lock of the Week winner as well, but he came in against Manuel Torres, and they kind of have that same fighting style. I mean, Drew Dober's a little bit more bouncy and stuff like that, but they're both kind of hittable dudes that kind of looking for the bigger shot than the other person throws. And Manuel Torres is so long and so crafty and can get it done everywhere. I mean, everyone thinks he's just this knockout guy, but he has just many submissions as he does KOs as well. So I think people are going to get smoked trying to chase Drew Dober on that plus money side. He's definitely the public dog, and Manuel Torres in front of the Mexican crowds, I think he shows up and shows out.
Yeah, listen, I am on the Torres side as well. I might be falling into that trap a little bit. I'm not going to pick Dober. I'm not going to bet on Dober, but I do recognize the toughness on that side. I saw a tweet, which might be influencing me. The tweet said, I forget who sent it, sorry. Said something like, Manuel Torres has like 5 first-round finishes, whatever the hell it was. Like, he doesn't get out of the first round. And then it said, I worry that he's the next Terrence McKinney. And that was an interesting tweet to read because it's like, oh, shit, that is, like, he could be that guy that is either smoking you immediately or getting smoked. But I do believe in him here. I think losing to Ignacio Bahamondes is a noble loss, and we just saw how good Ignacio can be everywhere. If you do want to check out all the picks, the bets, and the tools, WeWantPicks.com. Click become a member. DraftKings has this fight basically dead even. $8,200 for Manuel, $8,000 for Drew Dober. I do think there's a finish in this fight. So if you are firmly on one side or the other, stick to that side. Throw that person in your DraftKings fantasy lineup because whoever that person is, if you are correct, will score a bunch of points. WeWantPicks.com. Click become a member. It's freaking $10 for an entire month. It is A, the best way to support us and what we are doing, and B, the greatest value in this space, period, end of story, anything you could ever want or need. Next up, at UFC Mexico, we have the main event of the evening. We have a very interesting fight. I have mentioned in a few videos, there have been 8 fight nights this year. And in those 8 fight nights, 4 of them have been headlined by former UFC world champions, and 0 of them have won their fights yet. 0. And Brandon Moreno is a big-time favorite here. Maybe he can buck that trend. Brandon Moreno is 22-8 in his career. He is 3-2 in his last 5. He's coming off that bounce-back win over Amir Albazi. He's taken on the 2-fight losing skid Steve Erceg, who cannot seem to get a win after that title loss. Brandon Moreno, as we all know, former flyweight champion of the world. He is one of the division's best. If you're looking at all-time divisional flyweight champs, I mean, obviously, DJ's in the mix, and then Brandon Moreno's got to be in that conversation. He's an absolute dog. He's a ton of fun to watch. He's very tough, great chin, puts on a nonstop pace, and while you might be able to rip apart his actual technical acumen and what he does, technically speaking, he's a little sloppy. The dude's durable. He will move forward, and he will bring a fight to anyone. Brandon Moreno is also coming off that win over Amir Albazi, where a lot of people felt like Amir's wrestling was going to be too much, but Brandon was old school Brandon, just tough, in your face, didn't stop moving forward, and he got that win. He's taking on Steve Erceg. Steve Erceg is supposed to be like a phenomenal national level wrestler out of Australia. And while we've seen some flashes of wrestling, he doesn't come out here with that wrestling game plan. He wants to strike at distance. He's a long guy. He wants to strike at distance. If there is a scramble, he tries to snatch up submissions. He's pretty well-rounded on paper. He did work his way to a title shot. A lot of people think he somehow won that fight against Pantoja. I did not. I thought Pantoja won with the 8 takedowns. But people do seem to like Steve Erceg, that long-distance striking and that sort of inside the scramble type grappling. He is coming off that quick knockout loss to Kai Kara France, where the speed was just way too much. Kai, much shorter, much less long, right? What the fuck is that? And he was able to get to Steve Erceg, and he got to him quick, and he put him out. The reality is that I was hoping a lot of people were going to be on Steve Erceg here. If we look at the opening odds, the odds makers set it as Steve Erceg should win this fight. Almost instantly, those odds flipped. Almost instantly. The money came in, went to the Moreno side. Moreno is now the favorite, as he should be the favorite. I wish he wasn't as big of a favorite, but he should be the favorite. We've seen Steve Erceg get finished. We've seen Steve Erceg get out-grinded. Brandon Moreno can finish. Brandon Moreno can grind. And yes, he's a little sloppy. He can make some mistakes. He gets hit, but he's nuts durable. He's a guy that's going to move forward. He is not going to get exhausted. He's not going to quit in front of his own people. Brandon Moreno is just going to grind, and win this fight by any means necessary. And that's what we've seen him do in the past, and he's going to do it again here. Brandon Moreno is the pick. Pretty confident in that. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Yeah, this is to me, this seems like it's headed towards a carbon copy of a Dominic Reyes situation. Dominic Reyes came in and was beating some people, but not crazy high level. He knocks out, Chris Weidman, and you're like, okay. And then it's all of a sudden, it's like, oh, he's getting a title shot. And then he fights John Jones. It's like, oh my God, he just beat John Jones. And then it's like, but he didn't beat John Jones. Then he fights his next fight and he gets knocked out. And then you're kind of wondering, like, was he actually that guy, or is he kind of just a flash in the pan versus John Jones? Now you watch Steve Erceg. He's beating some guys. Then he knocks out a guy like Matt Schnell. And you're like, okay, he knocked out Matt Schnell. It was a great knockout. Then it's like, oh shit, this guy's getting a title shot. Then it's like, oh shit, he almost beat Pantoja, a reigning champion. Looked great. And it's like he just one little mistake, fights his next fight, gets knocked out. And you're like, is Steve Erceg really that guy? We're going to answer a lot of questions about Steve Erceg in this fight. And unfortunately for me, for Steve Erceg too, I think that Brandon Moreno kind of sends him down that Dominic Reyes path, because Brandon Moreno is a guy that's been there, done that. We all know the accolades and stuff, but the striking, the way that he strikes, Steve Erceg against okay strikers can really use his height, his length, and his footwork to kind of stay out of danger. He's a long guy for the division, and he really trusts his length. And I watched that Kai Kara-France fight, and it seemed like that city kickboxing team, as much as I trashed them, really picked up on that early, because that left hand that Kai Kara-France landed a few minutes into that fight, 3 or 4 minutes, whatever it was, he threw like 40 seconds into that fight and came about that close from landing a shot, because Steve Erceg is just kind of a straight back, lean back, and he keeps his hand up here, but he just kind of leans back, and he really trusts that length. And as the fight goes on, he starts to get a little bit lazier and lazier with kind of getting back, because what he does as a striker, he's a counter striker. He wants you to get just out of range so he can counter strike. Brandon Moreno is a guy that really is long with his strikes. He's long with his calf kicks. He's long with his jab. He can be long with his other type of strikes. He doesn't have to stand right in front of you. And if I was Brandon Moreno, I would start setting stuff up with a body jab, a long body jab, a long body jab, start dropping those hands, and then start replacing with a real jab. And if you're Brandon Moreno, in my opinion, you hear this a lot, the commentators talk about it, be first and be last. And I think that's what Brandon Moreno is going to do in this fight. He's going to set up his long jab. He's going to wait for the counter of Steve Erceg. He's going to cover up because he's very good technically, defensively, and then he's going to be last in the combinations as well. And whoever gets their jab going first is going to win this fight. I think it's going to be Brandon Moreno early getting that jab going, and once he gets that jab going, he draws out the strikes from Erceg, and then he counters back. Be first, be last, dominate the fight with the boxing. Erceg, I don't think he's going to be able to wrestle a guy like Brandon Moreno. He's shown good sprawling, all that type of stuff. I do worry that at times, what I did see in the film, especially in that Albazi fight, is as Brandon Moreno starts getting more comfortable and confident, you can see the confidence build in his striking. He really enjoys, and the reason I bring this up is because Steve Erceg's got a good jab. He really starts timing people's jab. When he throw the jab, he will throw his right hand over top of the jab. You see that a lot with strikers. The issue with Brandon Moreno is, as the fight goes on, he's getting more confident. He starts getting a little bit heavier and a little bit heavier with the way that he throws that right hand. I'm sure Steve Erceg knows that, and they're going to try and set up the jab. He's going to come with the right hand. If he starts overcommitting with that right hand, Steve Erceg could set a trap for him. I worry about that a little bit, so I wouldn't commit fully with that right hand. But Brandon Moreno's long with that jab, and I think he's a better striker here, and I think he's going to get it done.
Yeah, Jakey Boy and I on the same side here. A couple of things I saw in the comment section. Somebody said the UFC hates Steve Erceg with these matchups. What the fuck are they supposed to do? The dude just fought for a title. What are they supposed to do?
Yeah, out of nowhere, yeah.
Yeah, like what are they supposed to do? Just let him fight the number 15 in the world? Like, this is an appropriate matchup. As was his last one. Dude, Kai Kara-France was coming off, a layoff and a lot. Like, these are appropriate matchups. These aren't like a UFC newcomer who they fed to the wolves. They gave him a title shot. They don't hate him.
I think we're going to get a vintage Moreno submission win.
I would love it. Brandon Moreno's got to be one of the most likable guys. Like, how could you not like this guy? No, famously, if you go back to Jacob and I's vlog at UFC 303, we were in sort of the VIP section
I never
there.
even saw him in there, which is crazy.
Tiny. He's fucking so small.
Like, you had a whole conversation with him, touching him all the time, and you were touching all over that guy.
I put my arm. I didn't touch him.
You were literally like,
I didn't touch him.
Every time you say a word, you touch him and you squeezing him and you're rubbing his neck, and I think you were rubbing your hand through his hair.
Us cultured people, like Latinos, Italians.
Yeah, call your black friend again.
Torrance. Let's see. It's 11:30 his time. That's why he didn't answer when I called. He's in New York or California. He's in either New York or California. He's in one of those two. Listen, the reality is, Brandon Moreno's an insanely likable dude, and you can't possibly root against him. I don't see how, unless you're Australian or a Mrs. Erceg, I don't know how you root against the guy. And then you look at his actual fight skills, and he hits hard, and he grapples well, and he's durable, and he doesn't quit. He won the belt against all odds, defended, like he's done all the things. Brandon Moreno is...
today, maybe not tomorrow, maybe not next week, but I will be a champion. What a great, for him to be a champion after that is fucking...
Dude, and the funniest part is,
if he comes back and wins the belt too, it's like, Jesus Christ, man. Because especially too, because I like Brandon, I like his mentality as well, because we were talking about Molly and the self-awareness and stuff. He felt himself kind of falling out of love with the sport, and he realized that, and most fighters just try to push through that, and they start piling up losses because they're just not fully in it, but they try and just push through because it's all they really know. This motherfucker was like, listen, I don't really enjoy the sport right now. I'm going to take a step back, right? I'm going to kind of regroup until I find the love of the sport again, and now you can really tell that he really enjoys and loves the sport all over, and he's all over again. Listen, I had Amir Albazi as my lock of the week against Brandon Moreno. Biggest mistake I ever fucking made. And unlike Angelo, I don't make mistakes twice. So,
I mean, that is true. But we're all on the Moreno side here. He should get it done. I loved your Dominic Reyes analogy. That's a phenomenal analogy.
I mean, it's like if he...
Yeah, no, it's phenomenal.
It's a 1-for-1, honestly, at this point.
Yeah.
And I like Steve Erceg. I had Steve Erceg over Pantoja. That was the only... I only picked 2 pay-per-view main events wrong last year, and one of them was the Erceg over Pantoja, which is almost right.
Some people think I actually don't know why
didn't win
people...
that fight.
I was going to say, a lot of people felt he won that fight, and I was like, what the fuck?
No,
like,
everyone knew that last
times.
that last takedown attempt at the end or whatever it was. I mean, even he was like, yeah, it was fucking... I blew it.
Yeah, I mean, I was surprised so many people felt that way, but I mean, that's the sport, right? You pick a side, you love that side, you believe in that side, and you'll tell yourself anything you want to. Hopefully that's not the case here. I think we're all on the Moreno side. I haven't seen a lot of people picking Erceg here. If you do want to check out all the picks, not just this fight, not just me and Jacob, but BetSam, Artem, the artificial intelligence, everything's available at WeWantPicks.com. Just click Become a Member at the top. $1.99 super chat from Jafar Raza. I don't get this for shit. He said, I would like to invite to my family suite at 314. Oh, is he inviting us to? Oh, UFC 314. I'm picking up what you're putting down. Well, thank you. I mean, I'm not around for UFC 314, but that's very generous of you. Where's 314? It's in Miami. Right?
Welcome to Miami.
Yeah, Mbendimo Amiyami. It's for the look. I don't light it. We appreciate the super chat and the offer. And here's the pitch. Go to your app store, search We Want Picks, download the app. The app is free, you cheap sons of bitches. It's a free app, and you're going to get push notifications. The push notifications will notify you of anything of any importance whatsoever, and if you happen to be a premium member, some of those push notifications will let you know when we place picks, when we place bets. Inside of the app, you'll have access to the brand new optimizer. You'll have access to the fight simulator. You'll have access to the data analyzer. You'll have access to the line movement tracker. You'll have access to the prop hunter. You'll have access to everybody here. Me, Betsam, Jacob, Artem, the artificial intelligence. WeWantPicks.com. Click become a member at the top. And if you want 50, we'll send you 50. Use the affiliate links. Jakey boy, any last words for the people in what is quite literally our longest live stream ever?
Nope.
We appreciate you watching. We were flexing up to like almost 800 live viewers. We appreciate you on a random Tuesday night for UFC Mexico. Like, subscribe, do all the things. And I thank every last one of you.